Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Detroit.
Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by
Bell Tire.
Today it's the final home game of the 2017 season. Fans filing in for one final time here as we welcome you to Comerica Park. Final game of the series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Minnesota Twins. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Rod Allen. Glad to have you with us here for one last time. Rod, really, we've got to salute the fans this year. This has not been the type of season they expected or anticipated, but still they showed up in pretty good numbers this year.
Well, there's no doubt these are the best fans in the country by far. And not only do they show up here at Comerica Park, but when the team goes on the road, they really show up. And hopefully next year, the Tigers can come out with a new, fresh team with a lot of energy and give these fans something to cheer about all season long right here at Comerica Park.
All right, now with all the injuries the Tigers have had this year in the trades as well, Efrain Navarro has gotten an opportunity to play, and he made the most of that opportunity last night.
You know what? You got to give this young man a lot of credit. I mean, this guy spent 10 years in the bushes. That would be the minor leagues, and he's had a lot of at-bats. And in yesterday's game, he didn't even start. Miguel Cabrera left the contest, and here comes Efrain Navarro. Hits his second career home run against a guy who's given up quite a few this year. That would be Santana. He's given up 31, but he got a left-hander late in the game. He shot him the opposite way, so a two-homer game yesterday for Navarro, a guy that didn't even start. And not only is he a veteran, Mario, but you know when he was in AAA all year long, he was really helping a lot of those younger players down there with his leadership skills.
All right, final game in the series just minutes away. After a short break, we'll send you down to the Call Sam Studios. Mickey Orr standing by, and coming up in this one here today, hopefully more great defense. We've had a lot of it so far in this series. Stay with us. Tigers Twins coming up next.
Farmer, your pitching combatants for the final home game of the season for the Tigers. Buck hoping to leave the Comerica Mound with a good taste in his mouth after some rocky outings here so far this season. Mickey York back with you here in the Coliseum studio, hoping the buck stops here as it pertains to the Minnesota Twins. They have outscored the Tigers 29-7 through the first 3 games of this series. As you heard Mario and Rod earlier, Evan Navarro provided the bulk of the offense for the Tigers last night with a pair of home runs. But we're looking for the hat trick here in the season finale this afternoon, because that wouldn't only leave Buck Farmer with a good taste in his mouth, it'd leave us with a good taste in our mouths as well, because we get to eat curly fries. Detroit combines for 3 or more home runs in this game. Bring in a copy of the box score to a participating Arby's location tomorrow, and you'll get yourself a free small order of curly fries. You can find a copy of the box score in your newspaper or on the Tigers page at FoxSportsDetroit.com. Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. And by Chrysler. Get great deals on Chrysler's entire lineup of family-friendly vehicles.
And the St. Clair Shores Mariners Little League team is out there with a little meet and greet with Simo and Mickey York on the set before the game today. On a great and warm afternoon for baseball here in the Motor City, Buck Farmer is on the mound for the Tigers, and he is presented by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
And Buck Farmer pitched very well this year down in AAA, but up in the big leagues, he's had some success, and he's also had some failures. Buck has one more start after this one to show the Tigers that he should get some consideration for one of those starting spots next season.
Here is the starting lineup that he will face this afternoon, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. And for the Twins, It'll be Dozier, Mauer, Polanco in the top 3 spots. Rosario, Escobar, and Buxton anchoring the middle of the lineup. Castro catching, Vargas at first. Granite is in left field today.
Let's take a peek at the Tigers' starting defensive alignment. Left to right in the outfield, they go Romine, Jones, and Presley. Nicholas Castellanos is back at third base today. Jamer Candelario was banged up a little bit yesterday, so Nick leaves right field where he has been the last couple of weeks and goes back to his natural position.
And we are ready for action here this afternoon. Tigers wrapping up the home portion of their schedule for 2017. Brian Dozier leads it off. And here we go. The first pitch is up and into Dozier.
Good to have you back, buddy. You have a good Saturday afternoon?
I did. Good to be back in East Lansing with my son. Of course, Kurt Gibson had his foundation meeting yesterday and the fundraiser. Great day in East Lansing yesterday. There's a strike called on Dozier. I understand the 8th inning was a little bit long last night.
It was a little rough.
Yeah,
a little
it's
rough.
All right.
A little rough.
Today's a new day. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and it's fouled straight back, 1-2.
That previous pitch was an 80-mile-per-hour breaking ball to Dozier, and he took it for a strike, and then he came back with a fastball at 92. The importance of that is if you put the breaking ball thought in a deadly fastball hitter's mind like Dozier, you can get away with a fastball if you locate it.
1-2 is hit to the right side and deep. This one going to the warning track, and it's going to be caught in front of the wall by Presley. That ball was hammered pretty good the other way by Dozier.
Now here's an example of what I'm talking about. Fastball 93, and Dozier no doubt looking for something he could drive, and he gets this one on the inside part of the barrel just a little bit. He didn't barrel it up the way that he should have, or Dozier most definitely would have hit that ball out of the ballpark.
That'll bring up Joe Mauer now with 1 out. Mauer 4 for 13 with a couple of RBIs in this series for Minnesota. 307 batting average this year, and Mauer looks at ball 1.
Joe is playing like the Joe Mauer of about 10 years ago, slashing that baseball all over the diamond the second half of the season. Paul Molitor said that he is probably their most consistent performer all season.
Little chopper right back to the mound, knocked down by Buck, and he'll throw him out. There are 2 gone. Fly ball and a ground out, greeting Buck Farmer here today. That'll bring up Polanco. Well, the Twins, they are in high gear right now. Minnesota has won 3 straight. They've lengthened their lead in the wild card as the games dwindled to 4.5 now. So they are certainly in the driver's seat.
They are going to be the first team in history of the game to lose 100 or more games and then get to the postseason the following year.
Not to mention they were sellers at the trade deadline, too. So a strike called on Polanco.
Angels have dropped 6 games in a row. They were swept by the Cleveland Indians, who just continue to roll.
Showing bunt, and it's fouled off at home, 0-2. I thought the Angels had a chance when they got Justin Upton and Brandon Phillips. They really upgraded their offense, but the pitching has not been able to hold up.
Justin's kind of done his part. He had a 2-homer game yesterday. He now has a career-high 34 homers, and he's driven in a career-high 106, the former Tiger.
That ball ripped to right field. Presley's on the move for this one. He turns, and that ball is going to go. It's a home run. A line drive homer for Jorge Polanco, and the Twins have an early lead.
And it came on an 0-2 pitch. I mean, once you get ahead, no balls, 2 strikes. I know Buck and James McCann, and they want to make sure they execute a better pitch than the one that Polanco was able to hit out of the ballpark. That is now his 12th homer of the season. 0-2, and they tried to get a fastball inside at 93, and, well, Polanco wasn't having none of that.
71st RBI for Polanco, and this is a Twins team that has hit a lot of home runs in the month of September. That is 36 now this month.
They've also scored a lot of runs since the beginning of August. No team in baseball has scored more runs than Minnesota since the calendar turned to August. So that's nearly 6 weeks.
And in an odd scenario, they have not missed Miguel Sano, one of their prime run producers.
Yeah, that's strange.
1 ball, 1 strike on Rosario.
No, not to Sano, Mario, but I think it brings out the best in their team when they don't have that big power bat in the middle of their order, because yesterday they had a lot of 3-2 counts, a lot of unselfish at-bats. and they were just peppering the diamond with a lot of really good quality base hits. They were unselfish, and a lot of times you have that big power hitter, you're waiting for him to do something special.
Yeah, that's a good point. And of course, with Sano came a few strikeouts as well. 1-2 on Rosario. Outside, the count levels now 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Rosario may have had the best at bat in that 8th inning yesterday. It was against Daniel Stumpf, and it was a 3-2 count. He just fought off pitch after pitch after pitch before finally singling and driving in the tying run.
That is chop foul. And our best to Alex Wilson as well last night, who suffered the leg injury, and his season is done.
That was tough to watch. That ball came off Joe Mauer's bat at about 103 miles an hour, right off the ankle of Alex Wilson. He actually made it worse, Mario, when he attempted to throw one pitch. I mean, I don't know if it was broke at the time, but then he tried to throw one pitch, and it actually made it worse than what it initially was.
Well, he'll have the offseason to get healthy and get ready for spring training next year. Ball fouled away again by Rosario. He's hanging in there. 2-2 the count. Farmer, as Rod mentioned, is trying to show that he belongs in the rotation next year. Buck trying to pitch deeper into games. In fact, he's averaged a little bit over 4 innings per start.
Well, his last couple of outings have not been good outings for Buck. He lasted just 4 innings a couple of starts ago in 2 2/3 in his last outing. Buck appears to be in one of the runnings for one of the starting spots next year.
Ball high, run the count full now. 3-2 on Eddie Rosario.
I don't know what Buck's going to throw Rosario here, but he's got a really good changeup, and if he decides to throw the changeup and has confidence in it, he might get him to roll over one or get a swing and miss.
That was the 10th pitch of the at-bat, and he draws a walk.
He did go with the changeup, but he missed with it.
First walk of the ball game now for Farmer, and that'll keep it going for Escobar. Buck got a couple of quick outs, then the Polanco homer, and the walk to Rosario on 10 pitches. Well, the Detroit Lions will be playing next door at Ford Field today, so they'll be taking on the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of action going on downtown today.
That should be a good game.
Should be a great game.
The Falcons, man, they are fast. Of course, the Lions off to a good start, 2-0.
I would imagine there will be a few points scored in that game. Lions Live will be right after Tigers Live, so you'll be able to catch that here this afternoon.
That'd be Matt Shepard, right?
And Rob Rubik. And Lomas Braun will join them as well.
Oh, Lomas in the house, huh? Matt Shepard was here yesterday doing some radio for Dan Dickerson, who was subbing for you over on the television side.
Shep's all over the place.
Is there a harder working man in Michigan than Shepard?
Nope. The 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike on Escobar. It's a time of the year, man. You get all these sports kind of colliding with each other, and it's a great time. Little Caesars Arena opened up last night as well. Wings won the game against the Bruins last night in their opener at Little Caesars Arena for the exhibition season. 5-1 was the final score. 1 ball, 1 strike on Escobar. 1-2.
And Buck has pretty good velocity here today. Fastball's gotten up to 94 miles an hour with a little late life on it.
Well, after recording 2 quick outs, this will be the 20th pitch coming up. Check a 23rd pitch coming up in this inning. Swing and a miss, and he finally takes care of Escobar. First strikeout of the ball game. As we go to the bottom of the first inning, starting lineup for the Tigers today, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford Dealers. And it looks like this. It'll be Kinsler getting things started, then Presley, Castellanos. Navarro batting cleanup today, then McCann and Machado is at second with Ian DHing. And your bottom three is Romine, Jones, and Iglesias. Jose Barrios on the mound for the Twins, presented by MGM Grand Detroit.
Now, Barrios is having a pretty good year. He's won 12 games. He's lost 8. The ERA sits under 4. However, apparently he's got some cat allergies, Mario. In 4 starts against the Tigers, an 18 ERA, 18 earned runs, and 9 innings pitched this year against the Kitty Cats.
Some cat allergies. I love it. He's sneezing already, Rod. 0-1 the count on Ian Kinsler. And we'll see if those allergies continue here today as Ian looks at a strike down 0-2. Well, we kid around, but Barrios has been a nice addition to their rotation, hasn't he?
Well, he's one reason why they are where they are. I mean, this young man, when he came up last year, kind of struggled like most young kids do. But stuff-wise, he is filthy.
And Kinsler down on strikes.
And he demonstrates that to Ian Kinsler, the first batter of the game.
One away now for Presley.
Didn't take him long to put Ian Kinsler away, and he puts him away with just a wicked slide piece. I mean, that thing looked like a fastball coming right down the middle, and then the last 5 feet or so, that thing darted to the outside corner. It's a wicked pitch.
Almost in the dirt. Presley in right field today, batting in the 2 slot. Alex looks at a ball outside, 1-0. 1 for 6 in this series, but Presley's had 9 hits on this homestand.
And Barrios has a fastball that will top out at about 95 miles an hour. Average heater about 93. I called that pitch to Ian Kinsler a slider, but actually it's a curveball according to the data that I have. And he also throws a changeup about 9% of the time, mostly to the left-handed batters, but he really loves his fastball.
Now the 1-1. 1-2 on Presley. Barrios only 23 years old, a native of Puerto Rico.
Huge gap in right center field for Presley. Most of the time Presley will go in this direction with base hits, therefore they're giving him that right center field gap. But Buxton, as fast as he is, man, he can run down anything, and he's playing awfully shallow, as you would expect with Presley in the batter's box.
Fouled away again.
It's fascinating to me, though, that Barrios, even though Presley can drive the ball the opposite way, and especially with 2 strikes, they just continue to throw him away. Presley will take that pitch the opposite direction.
Alex probably going to finish over 300 this year in the average column.
No matter what happens with the Tigers and Presley next year, he has opened up some eyes this season. There are a lot of scouts that watch all the teams in the month of September. And there's no doubt that Presley has demonstrated that he can be a nice asset to a team.
Well, he's got an opportunity to play every day, and sometimes when guys that haven't been everyday players get a chance to do that, they're exposed, but Presley has been the opposite. Ball slapped out of play again.
He has turned in a quality at bat here against the youngster, Barrios.
Seventh pitch coming up in this at bat. Presley, 32 years old. He is from Louisiana, born in Monroe, Louisiana. Now the 2-2. Checked it low. He did not go. 3-2.
He throws that breaking ball anywhere from 80 to 83 miles an hour, so he does change speeds on that curveball. Starting to see more and more pitchers go to curveballs versus the slider.
That ball lifted in the air, and it's going to be DOZIER on the second base side, and they're 2 gone.
Let's take a quick peek at the Minnesota Twins starting defense, brought to you by Tim Hortons. Left to right, they go Granite in left field. He hit a home run last night, his first career homer, as a matter of fact. Buxton in center field, he's superior there. Rosario having another nice season. Escobar, Polanco, Dozier, Vargas round out the infield, and Jason Castro, the starting catcher this afternoon.
That'll bring up Castellanos batting in the 3 slot today and back at third base with Candelario out of the game this afternoon. Nick, 25 home runs, and you're looking at strike 0-1.
That is a well-located fastball at 93 with a little late life thrown by Barrios. He looks very poised out on the mound to me, partner.
Well, they got him shifted to the left side. Barrios, we mentioned, only 23 years old, but the way he has pitched this year, beyond his 23 years. Off the end of the bat, fielded by Vargas. It'll be a 1-2-3 first inning. Game 1-0 is our score as we go to the second, and we remind you to stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll be selecting the Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by McDonald's. Stop by for your breakfast favorites, now being served all day. Twins have the 1-0 edge on the Polanco home run. There's a strike call to Byron Buxton.
Good pitch. You start Buxton off with a slow breaking ball at 78. Now you can expand the strike zone on Buxton. He will leave the strike zone. There you go. This guy, when he puts it together, Mario, and he does show flashes of brilliance, and he's in a pretty good stretch right now. He's going to be a really good player, but he still will leave the strike zone a little bit too often.
You know, he hit a ball about a week or so ago against the Toronto Blue Jays in the bottom of the 9th for a walk-off winner. And that was after the Jays had tied it up with 2 outs in the top of the 9th, but it showed the massive power that he has. It went to the upper deck, and I mean, this kid doesn't look big. I mean, he's got a very slender build, but he must have a lightning quick bat.
Yeah, he demonstrates a lot of speed and a lot of power. Probably the best power combo nation in the big leagues, really, when you think about it.
Got him, and Buck goes to the outside corner. Strike 3 call.
Real nice fastball. He started him off with a slow breaking ball, put that thought in his mind, then he came back with all fastballs. 93 with that last one, and I don't know if Buxton would have been able to do anything with that pitch anyway. There was wonderful location.
Here is Castro. 3 RBIs in the series for Castro, 1 for 7. Right back up the middle off of Farmer. He can't locate it, and he's not going to have a play. It'll be an infield hit.
Well, Kevin Rand was a busy man last night, and he's busy again this afternoon. He is the head athletic trainer. Here's how busy Kevin Rand was in last night's contest. Miguel Cabrera, he took a swing, and then he got a base hit, got to first base, had to leave the contest after he got over to third. You can see him talking to Kevin and also to Lloyd McClendon. This one landed Willie on the disabled list and ended his season, and then you have Jamer Candelario trying to catch a pop-up. He ran into that railing over there by the Tigers dugout, and he had to leave the game.
So Farmer now will get a couple of warm-up tosses here to see if he can stay in. I assume he will. Kevin Rand out there to make sure.
Kevin Rand has been the head athletic trainer since the beginning of the 2002 season. So he's been here for a while.
I think he got him on the heel, and I think Buck says I'm all right.
I mean, one of the things that pitchers should do a little bit more of is after they deliver the baseball, they need to get themselves in a better position to field the ball. I mean, it looked like he was trying to jump step and get out of that way,
right,
and his back was turned to home plate. When you deliver it, you become another defender. I mean, that's how guys like Greg Maddux and who else, Keuchel and Burley, those guys won a lot of gold gloves because they fielded their position.
Well, it'll be an infield hit, the second hit of the game now for the Twins. Here is Kenny Vargas, who's playing first base today. Vargas has power, 11 home runs, 259 batting average. And you look at a strike 0-1.
Remember when Kenny first burst onto the scene a couple of years ago? They had him as baby Big Papi, didn't they?
They did.
The next David Ortiz.
And they called him Kennis. He's got the S at the end of his name. Now it's Kenny. Although Mr. Vargas says it's all right. You can call me either one. 1 ball, 1 strikeout Vargas.
He does have a lot of power.
9 homers in the minor leagues as well, so 20 in 2 stops. Swing and a miss. There were so many similarities, and I think still are, in terms of physical stature and swings. I mean, that last swing right there looked like a Big Papi swing. The only difference was Papi would make contact.
Right.
And it would go a long way. But Vargas, a lot of similarities.
He kind of patterned himself after David.
And he'll get into left field for a base hit.
He threw him a changeup to get ahead of him with 2 strikes, and then he came right back with the same exact pitch, the same exact velocity. But this one he left up, and Vargas just slapped the ball the other way. Unselfish at bat by Vargas, but as I told you, partner, last night, the Minnesota Twins, they took a lot of unselfish at bats. They have outscored the Tigers 30-8 in the series.
Ouch. Well, Minnesota looking to win their 4th consecutive game. They were pretty much manhandled by the New York Yankees. They've gotten back on track here against the Tigers. Here is ZACK Granite. Strike 1 to Granite.
Minnesota really has had one bad stretch this year. It was a West Coast trip, and they lost 7 of the 9 games, and that led their general manager to trading away their closer and a starter that they just acquired. But since that date, they have played some of the best baseball in the league.
The 0-1 to the right side. Machado rather to second 1. They'll go to third, hoping to catch the lead runner Castro napping there, but no such luck. It'll be a force out of Vargas at second. First and third now with 2 outs. Top of the order now, Brian Dozier. Dozier fly to right field to start the ball game. 0 for 1. Farmers surrendered the home run to Polanco in the first. And so far the only run in this game. Dozier looks at a ball outside. 1-0.
You want to make Dozier hit the ball to right field. He He does go that way on occasion, but by and large, here's where he does all his damage, to left field. Tremendous power to left field. That's where most of his home runs go. But he has shown Mario 27 times to go the other way this year. That's why his batting average is all the way up to 260.
Yeah, that's no coincidence, is it?
No coincidence at all. On occasion, he will hit a ball that way. He flew out deep to right field his first time up, but he does his damage to the pull field.
Since the All-Star break last year, DOZIER has done a lot of damage.
DOZIER is a very good high fastball hitter, but that fastball at 91, too high for DOZIER to catch up to.
Trying to drive in a run here with 2 outs, first and third. From the All-Star break last year to this point, 47 home runs for DOZIER.
And the majority of those, did you say second half, 47 home runs?
Second half,
yeah.
Correct. Yep. DOZIER 2 on wrist, 276 this year. Now the 1-1. 1-2 on the Twins leadoff man.
If you're Bug Farmer and you're going to try to get DOZIER with a fastball up top, you have to make sure you get it way up top. If you leave it around the belt buckle, he can handle that one. James McCann in front of home plate right now with 2 strikes and 2 outs, going through a series of signs. Just in case the base runners try to do anything, he wants everybody to know exactly what he will do with the baseball. He might throw it to second. He might just hold it. He might try to pick the guy off at third. Lots of different options if that base runner is running.
Who decides on what option to pick?
Brad. Brad decides what they'll do. My guess is, who's that, Jason Castro on third?
Base. Yep.
My guess is if Granite does take off, they won't try to throw him out.
The ball skying in the air. Left side, it's going to drop actually, and that's going to be an RBI. And now they got 2 runners hung up between first and third, and we'll get a run back now. Machado will tag out DOZIER, but they'll get a run in, and it's now 2-0 in favor of the Twins.
Afternoon against the Tigers, and let's take one more look at the base hit by DOZIER. I first thought that Granite, who on first base could run, should have tried to get to third base, but after getting another look at it, ROMINE jumped on that ball, which meant that Granite made the right decision, but DOZIER, who hit the ball, apparently was running with his head down. and he never took a look to see whether Granite was going to third base or not.
Tigers catch a bit of a break there, but they're down 2-0 now as Efren Navarro leads it off for the Tigers. It'll be Navarro, McCann, and Machado facing Barrios, who had an easy 1-2-3 first inning, and there's a ball low to Navarro. Efren batting in the cleanup slot here today after slamming a couple of homers in the ball game last night. His first multi-homer game and his first 2 of the year for the Tigers. Barrios with the 1-0, and it's in there, a strike.
Kind of tough to see the baseball here today, partner, when they do put it in play. I mean, these monitors that we are looking at, I mean, it's hard to tell where the baseball is going.
I haven't seen one yet, to be honest with you. Anything on the ground I can see, anything in the air, good luck. I can see that one. It's fly to center field. Hit pretty good and playable. It's going to be Buxton for the out, 1 gone. Very glaring, and I think the noon start has something to do with that today.
I would agree with that. We don't have many noon starts here at Comerica Park.
Here is McCann stepping in, and as far as the weather is concerned,
it's going to get up to 90, isn't it?
Yeah, it was 82 at game time, up to 84, so you're probably right. Heading toward 90.
It's a good day for you to go on back into the closet and get the old Speedo back out again and go to the beach.
Dude, you need to stay out of my closet.
Dust it off again. Thought you put it away.
That is the visual that nobody wants to see. That ball hit pretty good to left field, but it's going to stay in the ballpark and caught right in front of the wall by Granite. Dust off the old Speedo.
Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I'm trying to remember the last time we had a 90-degree day in late September. Yeah, one yesterday, going to have one today.
There's some folks out there tailgating today, and they're getting ready to go into Ford Field for a football game, and I hope they're hydrating with a little water with whatever else they may be drinking this morning.
Water. Yep, bring the water, believe me, bring the water. You will thank us later. Johnny Kane is hanging out in downtown Detroit today. He'll be filing a report a little bit later on. The Lions getting ready to kick off.
They're rolling in.
Ball fouled out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike on Dixon Machado.
Downtown District Detroit will be very busy downtown next number of years. The place to be.
Barrios now with the 1-1. Good pitch, 1-2. Two runs on 4 hits for the Twins. Tigers in search of their first base runner. And Machado checked it, went around for strike 3. And a 1-2-3 inning for Barrios. As we go to the top of the third, Tiger season ticket holders, renew your season tickets now through October 6th to be eligible to win our 30 prizes in 30 days raffle and a chance to win once-in-a-lifetime fan experiences. Tigers.com/seasons to renew today. Here we go. Here come the Twins now. Top of the third. They're up 2-0. Buck Farmer back to the mound facing Mauer, Polanco, Rosario. These will be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Paul Molitor. Farmer surrendering a homer and an RBI single in this game as Mauer looks at a strike now, 1-1.
I don't think Mauer has swung at one first pitch of an at-bat in the 4-game series. He has taken the first pitch every single plate appearance.
Pretty much his MO though, right?
Yeah, but every now and then he'll try to ambush you though. Maybe 3 times in a game he'll take that first pitch and all of a sudden he tries to lull you to sleep that 4th time up and he's looking to do some damage. I got him swinging at one first pitch today.
Now Farmer with the 1-2. That ball lifted in the air toward left. Romine is on the move, reaching for the wall. He'll make the catch.
That ball got all the way to the warning track.
One away. Let's check in with Johnny Kane now for a Chrysler game break.
Boys, what a weekend for Detroit sports. You know, yesterday we went just up the street on Woodward to the new Little Caesars Arena where the Red Wings faced the Boston Bruins in exhibition action, and that proved fruitful as the Wings got a 5-1 victory. Today, here we are out in front of Ford Field where the Lions getting set to take on the Atlanta Falcons. Both of these teams unbeaten. You can see a lot of blue out here.
Detroit!
Let's go Detroit is absolutely right. You know, the reality is they should be selling Kool-Aid out here because a lot of people are drinking up the Lions' early season successes. So a reminder that we'll have Lions Live post-game coverage starting immediately following the Lions game on Fox Sports Detroit Plus. Talking Matt Shepard, Rob Rubik, and also Lomas Brown. And then once Tigers Live is finished here on Fox Sports Detroit, we'll pick up Lions Live post-game coverage from there. Boys, back to the booth.
All right, Johnny, thank you. It is indeed a big day downtown here this afternoon. Tigers' final home game of the season, and the Lions doing battle at Ford Field. 2-1 on Polanco, and he'll take a strike on the outer edge, 2-2.
You have Julio Jones on the 94 detours?
No, but I got Matt Stafford. He's my starting QB today,
He
baby.
started today?
Yep.
That boy Julio Jones is no joke, though.
Oh, yeah, he's a bad boy, there's no doubt. The 2-2. That is pulled foul. Bringing Craig Monroe, who joins us now. And Simo, what do you got in Buck Farmer so far? I know these are important games here for Buck.
So far, so good. Pitching well, using his fastball, I feel like, well, moving into both sides of the plate. Changes the speed with the little slide piece. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Buck so far.
That ball is lifted in the air again toward left center field. Who wants it? It'll be Jones, the center fielder, and Polanco's out of it.
See how's your fantasy football team doing the first couple of weeks of the NFL season?
Well, I'm 1-1. Not so good this year. My picks, I don't think I did a good job this year picking.
Who's your quarterback today?
My quarterback is Wilson.
Seattle?
Seattle Mariners. Russell Wilson.
Seahawks.
The Seahawks. I'm thinking baseball.
No wonder you're 1-1.
Yeah.
You know, I shouldn't say that because I'm 0-2 so far this year.
I can't believe you guys are already thinking about football, man. Baseball season is still here. You guys are playing fantasy football.
Yeah, well,
I can't believe that.
Well, you have to set your roster, right? I mean, if you're going to pick these players and you're going to play fantasy football, you have to set the roster.
All right.
There's a strike called on Rosario. Eddie batting with 2 outs here as Farmer looks for his first 1-2-3 of this ball game. We got to get you into the fantasy football thing.
I probably should come up with another hobby in the off season.
I don't know that I'd call this a hobby, but
yeah, I probably should.
But it's fun. It's fun. It keeps you engaged in the game.
Can you get out of the house if you play?
Sure.
Well, yes,
you
you
get a hall
can.
pass.
You get a hall pass. Get out. Go hang out with the fellas.
3-1. That shouldn't be your main focus, though, to get out of the house to play fantasy football. Rosario walked in the first. Here's the 3-1 pitch.
I don't know about you guys.
Back.
I miss baseball, though, when it's not in season because, I mean, you just find yourself, I mean, I don't know how busy you guys are, but you just kind of find yourself, you know, kind of looking for some things to do, and sometimes there just ain't a whole lot going on.
Nah, not in the offseason. Even for me, Rod, it's tough in the offseason. It's tough to get away. You know, I've got the twin boys. They're 6 years old, so I stay pretty busy running around with them. And they just started playing flag football, so I'm excited to get home and watch Morgan play some volleyball and then get an opportunity to watch the boys play a little flag football.
Yeah, see, our mine are gone now.
Your
I
kids
remember
are
those
grown.
days, though. I remember those days. Fun days, busy days.
Well, I would argue here that baseball, of course, goes through the month of October with the postseason.
It does.
So in November, you get all the awards, and all of a sudden in December, the hot stove lead kicks up, and
Right back at 'em.
Yeah, you're right back at them at the turn of the year. You got the winter meetings in December. Here is Escobar now after the 2-out walk.
Guys, what a great day for a baseball game, though. It's just beautiful down here.
It has been unseasonably warm, and the Tigers fans taking advantage of that. The final home game of 2017 this year, which is always hard to believe.
I hope all the folks down there have got their sunscreen on and drinking their water, staying hydrated.
0-1 on Escobar. Seymour, you're from Texas, so
Yes, sir.
playing baseball in this kind of heat was probably something you did as a kid every day.
Yeah, you do. You got used to it. I mean, you knew it was going to be hot. And you just, like Rod said, you have to drink plenty of fluids. But after when you're a kid, though, you don't even think about how hot it is. You just enjoy playing the game.
0-2.
A lot of folks here sitting in the shade and standing in the shade.
Dude, I was driving in today, and Ford Field was jumping. I mean, the tailgaters were out early.
You crash any of them?
No, I didn't. I let them make it today. I thought about it, but I had to go to work.
0-2. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Escobar. A strikeout victim in the first. Tigers here this afternoon trying to snap a 6-game losing skid. Twins trying to close in on that second wild card. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. All right, let's assume now it's going to be the Twins and Yankees. How do you see that 1-game playoff going?
I feel like the Yankees win that 1-game playoff. I think Severino, who's been
Not Gray?
No, I'm going Severino. He's been their most consistent pitcher all season long, so I would go with Luis Severino.
I think they got Gray lined up, though. He pitched yesterday, so I think he lines up for the game, though. I mean, I may be wrong, but I think that's the way they've drawn it up.
He's pitched better than I thought he would in New York.
Severino?
No, Sonny Gray. He really has.
Oh, but Severino's a guy that can miss some bats, though.
Yeah, 97, 98 for
Do you
about
worry?
7, 8
Do you
innings.
worry, though? He's never really been in a big game like this, though? Does that worry you at all?
No, not at all.
No?
We
You
thought
Mario,
the
that worry
same
you,
thing
Mario?
about Justin
Well, no, he
Verlander.
threw against us against JV, didn't he?
I'm talking about postseason big game.
Yeah, postseason. He threw against JV. We played the A's in the DS a few years
No,
back.
I'm talking about Severino.
Oh, I thought you meant Gray.
Yeah. Severino.
No, I wouldn't worry. I mean, I think his stuff just plays.
Yeah, I'm with Mario on that,
yeah.
Rod. His stuff plays. 97 to 100-mile-per-hour fastball, not just for 1 inning, guys.
Well, if it turns into a bull-
6, 7 innings.
Yeah, but if it turns into a bullpen day, I give the edge to the Yankees.
Oh, yeah, no question. Chapman's back on track, throwing 104.
Because they've got 5 guys that they can run at you from the 5th through the 9th that are 100 miles an hour guys.
Well, you bring that up, Rod, and I heard one analyst say, you know, they should not throw Severino in Game 1 because of their bullpen. They should save him for Game 1 of the DS. They should not throw him in the wild card. And because they have such a dominant bullpen, if you get 5 innings out of Gray or whomever, you know, you can turn that thing over to the bullpen and save your main guy for Game 1.
That's a great point.
I mean, if Tanaka's great, I mean, if he's on his game, I mean, he's one of the best at missing bats and keeping you off balance. But he's been so up and down this season that he hasn't been consistent enough to get the ball, I don't believe, right on the
Here's
first day.
Chapman's 3-1.
I wouldn't give it to him.
Our big story, the Yankees able to clinch a playoff spot. They did it last night.
Ball game over. Yankees win.
And the Yankees win, and they have clinched a wild card spot. Looks like Boston's going to win that division. 2-2, swing and a miss. Down he goes to end the inning. No runs, they get a walk, and they leave a man. And we'll go to the bottom of the 3rd here at the ballpark. As we go to the bottom of the third here at the ballpark, and Detroit's #1 mascot, Paws, is available to appear at your next special event. Bring Major League Baseball fun to birthday parties, corporate events, parades, and school functions. If you'd like to book Paws for your next special event, go to tigers.com/paws, of course. In the meantime, here come the Tigers now in the third. They've gone 1, 2, 3 in the first 2 innings. It'll be Andrew Romine to get things started against Barrios, and the first one is outside, 1-0. Romine, Jones, Iglesias, bottom 3 facing the young right-hander Barrios. We've heard so much about Barrios, or had the last couple of years, about him being their #1 pitching prospect, and now Simo, it looks like he's finally starting to put it together.
Well, guys, it seems like to me that he's made the adjustment as far as being able to repeat his delivery and throw more strikes. I think command was his issue the first few years. He would fall behind a lot of 3-0, 2-1s, like now, 2-1, he's behind the count. But he's found a way to make some better pitches, especially when he needs to.
Tigers have not been all that kind to Barrios, but that was before this year, really. Well, I guess not so much. I mean, he had 1 start this year against the Tigers, and he wasn't very good. But in 9 innings pitched, he's given up 18 earned runs to Tiger bats in the last couple of seasons.
I think part of the problem, the walks. Last year, he averaged about 5 walks per 9, which is obviously way too high. That has come down, but it still occasionally will be a problem for him. In fact, 8 walks in his last 2 starts. And right on cue, there is ball 4 to Romine.
Well, Neil Anderson, guys, their pitching coach, talked to both of these guys at length, and I'm talking about Kyle Gibson and also Barrios. They have to attack. They have to attack the strike zone. They have to show confidence in throwing all of their pitches. So again, you just go through those periods where, as a young player, you don't trust it all the way until you start to have some success, and it starts to work for you, and then all of a sudden the confidence continues to rise.
Jacoby Jones looks at ball 1. Jones has 4 hits on the homestand, batting .164. Tigers trailed 2-0. We're in the third. That's in there, a strike called, 1-1.
See, now what is Jacoby thinking about? It's 1-0. And he's got himself in a fastball-friendly count, and fastball's 92, and it's right down the middle.
I really don't know, Rob, because you have to be aggressive on that pitch, because that might be the best pitch you get in this particular bat. And then you get the breaking ball.
Yeah.
I think you hit it on it yesterday, right, when you talked about Jacoby Jones being in the batter's box and maybe thinking a little bit too much. Instead of being aggressive, trusting his approach, trusting the hard work that he's put in with Leon Bull-Durham and also Lord McClendon in the batting cage. You got to when you get in the batter's box, you have to trust it.
There's a wave and a miss, and down he goes. 1 gone, and that'll be the 3rd strikeout for Barrios. Here's a question I have, and you guys have been through this because you guys have had your ups and downs, your successes and your stretches where the game can get tough, but how do you separate not thinking about it and just going out there and see ball, hit ball? I mean, is it that hard to do?
It takes time. I mean, it takes some time, especially to be consistent in the big leagues. And Jacoby has been consistent in the minor leagues. He's played with the best minor league players as well. In the Arizona Fall League, he was able to hold his own there. He just needs to start to believe that he's good enough to play at this level. He gets himself in really nice fastball-friendly counts, but it appears to me sometimes they've thrown him so many breaking balls that every now and then he might be looking for a breaking ball in a fastball count.
I'm going to agree with you, Rod, there. I'll go another step further and tell you that when I trusted my mechanics, Mario, when I felt very good about what I was trying to accomplish, not only in the batting cage but in the batter's box, that's when I was free. That's when I could focus on just picking up the baseball and not worrying about my mechanics.
Yeah, but how do you get to that point, though?
Well, you continue to grind it out behind the scenes in the batting cage, working on your contact points, and you just have to trust it in the game. And for truth be told, guys, that's that next step. That's the next step that Jacoby Jones has to get to, is that he's got to get to a point to when he gets in the batter's box, you got to throw mechanics out of the window, and you got to be mano, and you got to focus on picking up the baseball.
Iglesias went around. And so Iggy is out on strikes, and back-to-back punch-outs now for Barrios, 4 in the game.
Barrios has 4 strikeouts so far here today, and 3 of the 4 have come on that good curveball, and 1 on a really good fastball. But you can see he's got a lot of break and a lot of depth and a lot of arm speed on that 81-mile-per-hour bender. I guess there's no question. There's no question Santana will get the ball in a 1-game playoff against New York, right?
No question.
If this guy, he wouldn't be bad to have him backing up, would he?
Not at all. But right, that's why I was surprised that Kobe Jones didn't swing at that first pitch with that 1-0 fastball right down the middle because of that slider. His slider's a legitimate strikeout pitch, a legitimate swing and miss pitch. And when you know that a pitcher has that particular pitch in his pocket, I think it's important to be aggressive on the fastball.
In all honesty, to the guys on the field today, with the 12 o'clock noon start, I mean, it may be a little difficult to see the baseball.
Absolutely.
The 1-0 is in there. Strike called on Kinsler.
Because there's a fastball right there that's located beautifully to Ian Kinsler on the outside black after a first pitch breaking ball.
I've also noticed this too, guys. It's easy when I'm sitting behind the desk or I'm sitting here in the booth watching.
Yeah, the further you get away from that dirt, the easier the game gets.
It looks really easy out there, right?
Something about being on that dirt that changes everything.
Yeah, it does. I'm down in the camera well. I'm like, what's going on, boys? I mean, those balls are right there. But then I have to remind myself, listen, it's not as easy as it looks, see? You've been in there. It's tough. It's tough when guys are changing speeds, moving the baseball around the strike zone. Same arm action, you know. It's tough to pick up the baseball at times.
It's a humbling game.
Yes, it is.
1-2 on Ian Kinsler. In the air toward left, shallow. And it's going to be caught on the run by Polanco to end the inning. No runs, a leadoff walk, 1 man left. A tough year for the Tigers, but there have been some memorable moments. How about this catch from Mikey Matuk off Sal Perez?
Sick play. And Mikey Matuk ran a mile to get to that ball off the bat of Salvador Perez, and he caught it at the base of the 420-foot sign and got a big hug from Justin Verlander when he came off the field.
We'll be looking at some of the top plays that the Tigers turned in at home this year. Of course, this being the final home game of the 2017 schedule. Byron Buxton leading things off. Buxton, Castro, Vargas. That is lifted foul back out of play, and the count 0-2 on Byron.
Yeah, as we talked yesterday with Byron, who also struck out a couple of times in yesterday's contest. And no longer do you have to throw him a strike on the next couple of pitches. Just see if he'll chase something, and whether it be the fastball up or the breaking ball down.
Swing and a miss. Down and away, and down he goes. 4 strikeouts now for Farmer. Just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
It's Miller Time. Miller Time.
It's one of those days.
Everywhere. I mean, all downtown is jumping right now, guys. With the Tigers playing, the Lions playing. It's a lot of Miller Lights being drank today, huh?
You know it.
Here is CASTRO. You were just waiting for that promo, weren't you?
I was, you know. I'm a Miller kind of guy.
2-0. The Twins have the lead here as we play in the 4th. Farmer facing CASTRO, who singled and scored in his last at-bat. Miss inside, or outside rather, and the count goes 2-0 now at CASTRO. Farmer had his first scoreless inning back in the 3rd. The 2-0. Outside, 3 balls, no strikes. You guys have both been in positions like this where it's late in the season, your team is out of it, and you've got to play them out. I mean, that's just what you have to do. That's what you do in baseball. You figure out a way to finish the schedule, and I think especially for some of the veterans like Ian Kinsler, that can be kind of tough to grind through these games.
It truly can be, but that's when you have to be a professional, and we've seen that from Ian Kinsler. He comes out and he plays hard every single day. But for the younger players, Mario, we've talked about this before. I mean, it's salary drive.
Right.
It's arbitration cases. It's playing for a position next year. And so you have to pay attention to detail. You want to be consistent. You want to be productive. You want to leave 2017 going into 2018 with a real good feeling that you put some pressure on the brass, on the big boys, Al, and whoever's going to be here, the new staff, so to speak. You got to make it tough on you. You got to make the decision tough, and you want to claim one of these positions on the field.
It's uncharted waters for so many of the guys that the Tigers currently have on their roster, guys that aren't necessarily guys that have been in the big leagues for a long time, guys that have never really played in the month of September. Most of the guys on the roster, they played through August, 140-game schedule, so you got to dig deeper in the month of September, especially when you're playing on a team struggling like the Tigers. I guarantee you the Minnesota Twins, they're not tired at all.
Not at all.
They're having a lot of fun, a lot of energy, but when you're playing on a team like Detroit, it's tougher.
That's going to be over the head of Jacoby Jones, up against the wall in center field. Coming to third base is CASTRO. They're going to stop in there, and Kenny Vargas with a one-out double.
That was an absolute laser off the bat of Kenny Vargas. I mean, that ball had some serious backspin, and Mario, he looked like Big Papi on this swing.
Didn't he, though?
Goodness gracious. I mean, Jacoby Jones took off with this ball, and he thought he had a read on it, and all of a sudden the ball had another gear, and Jacoby had to pick it up after he rolled off the gate.
Second and third now for ZACK GRANITE. Simo, what was it like in 06 when you guys are in September and all the bumps and bruises start to kind of catch up to you? You're dog tired, but knowing that you got a chance to go to the postseason, how much does adrenaline kick into that point?
Oh, it kicked in, and it kicked in a hurry. It was fun getting to the ballpark. Matter of fact, the guys, we were getting to the ballpark, Mario, so early because we just enjoyed. We enjoyed where we were at, first of all, coming from 2003 where we lost 119 games, and to be playing meaningful games here in Detroit. This place was on fire. I mean, the crowd was crazy. You couldn't wait. You couldn't wait. I mean, absolutely wait to get to the ballpark. And so you would see guys at the ballpark. It's 1:30. Batting practice at 4:30. So what are you guys doing? I was one of those guys, man. You just wanted to get there, be here early, and feel it because it was so much fun. It really was.
Infield tight at the corners now for ZACK GRANITE. Second and third, one out for the Twins. And GRANITE lines one to right field, chasing Presley back. Runner will tag at third. CASTRO comes in to score. Vargas will move up as well. Sack fly RBI for GRANITE. And now a 3-0 lead for Minnesota. So GRANITE drives in a run with less than 2 outs. We'll bring up the top of the order now, DOZIER.
Simo, I've got Paul Molitor as a manager of the year in the American League. Do you have anybody else other than him?
No, I've got Paul Molitor as well. I mean, for a team to lose 103 games right last year in Mario, I just feel like the fact that they're playing meaningful games, they've got a chance to take that second wild card spot. No question, guys, he's been a difference maker on this team or for this team.
I don't think it's even close to you, Rod.
Well, only because, I mean, Terry Francona is so popular. And Terry gets the most out of his squad, and they've had a wonderful run. At one point in time, the Indians won 27 out of 28 games. You also have A.J. Hinch, who's a very good manager in Houston. But for me, Molitor has gotten more out of less.
I agree.
And that's the major point right there. I agree with you on the pregame show when you said that Tito Francona is the best manager in the American League. I agree with that. But he runs out a pretty good lineup every single night. Molitor has run out a lineup that is not as star-studded as that Cleveland lineup is.
He's also running Corey Kluber out there every 5 days, too.
That's not bad.
That's
not only Kluber, man. Bauer got 16, 17 wins. Carrasco got 15.
Yeah.
And they got Salazar coming out of the bullpen now, throwing 99.
I also read that Clevenger will be used out of the bullpen as another weapon down there in the
goodness,
postseason.
they're deep now.
2-1 on Dozier. It'll get away from McCann, but not far enough. 3-1.
On inside the corner today, Mario, me and Rod were debating. He told me it's a no-brainer that he's going, Cleveland will win. No-brainer. I mean, how about the Houston Astros? I mean, they just got must-see TV. Justin Verlander, he's been a difference maker already. You don't think I think Justin Verlander gets them over the hump, and they beat Cleveland, right?
All I know is that was in the lunchroom, and I could hear Rod screaming all the way down the hall at you. And the buzzer came out a couple of times.
Always have fun in that segment. I do. I have fun. I love debating with Rod. A lot of times, we do agree. But I just like to disagree with him anyway to get him going a little bit,
But nothing beats the buzzer, man. When you hear that thing go off, it's awesome.
I kind of overtalked, just kept talking through the buzzer today.
Yeah, you did. You had too much coffee this morning.
I did. Me and Mickey York had a nice brunch.
Popped up foul back out of play. 3-2 on Dozier. So Rod's got the Indians clearly walking through the American League and into the World Series, correct?
He does.
And you got the Astros.
Do you not think that Verlander will be a little bit leery of going up against that Cleveland Indians team with the numbers they've been put up against him lately, though?
Yep.
Well, I mean, that's probably going to be in the back of his head. But again, this is playoff baseball. It's 2 different seasons. I just feel like Justin Verlander finds a way to elevate in the biggest moments. And so
I hope
for that
he does.
reason, I think he will.
I hope he does.
I believe he will.
Dozier chases and strikes out. 5 punch-outs for Farmer. And another run. And the buzzer.
It's time for you to go?
Not yet. You can't get rid of me that fast, baby.
It's time for you to go.
As we go now to the bottom of the fourth inning, Menards brings you the big money encounter. Guys, have you seen the list of players that from the opening day roster are not right now on the roster for the Tigers?
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge list.
Injuries, those that are traded, others that have been either released or demoted.
Waived.
Got a little bit of everything, but it certainly is a different team than it was on opening day. And it was a team that I think many thought could still make some noise in the Central, but for whatever reason the last couple of years that mix just did not work.
No, it didn't. And once they got off to a slow start this year from the starting pitching department, obviously Zimmerman has not had the year that he was hoping to have. Nor has Sanchez had the kind of year he was hoping to have. So it's been very, very difficult. J.D. Martinez was on the disabled list when the season began.
Yeah.
Although they held their own while he was gone, you still miss that big bat. And look at what J.D.'s doing for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mean, you just can't replace that presence.
Presley getting things started here in the Tigers' fourth inning. Down by 3 runs now. And that is into right field, a base hit out of the reach of a diving Vargas, and it's going to be a leadoff single. The Tigers finally get a hit on the board, and time now for the Bernstein advantage as Nick Castellanos comes strolling in. And when you look at Nicholas in his last 40 games, the numbers are big.
OPS nearly 1,000 in his last 40 games.
How about the extra base hits, Rod? Nick has done a great job, guys, of not expanding the strike zone. Continue to trust this approach. I love his approach, guys. He thinks to the big part of the field. He hits fastball. Kind of reminds you of a Miggy approach where he hits fastballs the opposite way. But please don't hang him a breaking ball. We've seen him go big fly to left, which actually speeds up your bat. Tremendous year from Nick thus far.
Well, Nick has done something this year that hasn't been done for about a decade in a Tiger uniform, and that's hit 20 or more homers with 10 triples. Curtis Granderson was the last Tiger to do that. You wouldn't necessarily associate Nick with all those triples, but it's been that kind of year for Nicholas.
Yeah, but he also worked on his speed and his quickness in the offseason. And obviously with the 10 triples, it paid huge dividends. But he looks very hitterish in the batter's box to me, man. Every single time he seems to be in control of his at-bat.
Nick may be the only right-hander, and maybe it's because of the double play situation, but we've also watched them in double play situations with Dozier on the other side of the bag, playing over there with the shortstop. But right now, Dozier kind of shading Nicholas up the middle. A huge hole right between first and second. Should Nicholas go in that direction?
Well, Nick ain't trying to hit ground balls, right? He's trying to hit gappers with this new launch angle.
In there, a strike called. 1-2 now on Castellanos.
Every now and then you got to play the game, though, see?
That's right.
Like right now, 2 strikes, take that knock. I'm not sounding like he's my pick to stick today, am I?
You are, really.
How many points are you behind Mickey?
1.
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
Here's the 1-2. Pull on the ground, a third foul right by Escobar.
That breaking ball that Barrios is featuring today, not many Tigers have been able to put that ball in play with authority. And he's been able to throw that ball over the plate whenever he has wanted to. And then when you add in the fact he's got 93, 94 with a little movement on his fastball. It's been some uncomfortable at-bats so far for the boys, but there's still a lot of baseball left.
He's located that pitch right extremely well.
Is he going to throw Nick a fastball here or another one of those breaking
No, I'm
balls?
going to see if I can get him to chase a slider down the way.
Yep. Down on strikes.
I'm down by 2 points. I said 1.
Way to go. 5 strikeouts now for Barrios.
Pick the stick, Mario.
Pick the stick is crazy.
It really is. And Mickey York, he's just as bad as Rod Allen. Oh, he wants it. He wants it. He wants it right now. He wants to win. He was him and Rod were going at it yesterday. Inkins just missed hitting the home run. And Mickey texts Rod.
Oh, man.
These guys are in it. Oh.
Hey, Rod was texting me, I think. I think he started it with the texts. I think I got something like, oh, so close, big fella.
Somebody woke up Mickey.
Hey, you got to admit, if you get this close, you may as well try to win.
Oh, there's no question. You guys
may
are right
as well
there
try to win
battling
it if you're
each
going to be
other.
this close. In your case, you did nice getting out of last
I
place.
did. I'm working on it. Was that a little dig there? I'll take it.
Not really.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Do we mud wrestle if we end up in a tie at
Oh, my
season's end?
goodness.
What's the tiebreaker?
Please don't.
I don't know what we do. We'll figure out something, Mick.
How about arm wrestle? I'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay.
There's a strike called on Navarro. By the way, Mick, if you end up winning, you're going to have to share that award with several other hosts. And likewise, Rod, you'll have to share it with Gibby.
For sure.
I don't know what you're speaking of. It's all mine.
That does not surprise me. Navarro fly to center field. He is 0 for 1 in the game. Fouled away, now 1-2 on Efren. 2-homer game yesterday. Nobody had Navarro and picked the stick. He didn't start the ball game, but he finished with a bang.
I know, Murray. We also left James McCann out there. He was 5 for 5 against this young man today.
How did Dan Dickerson do for me? He selected Holiday, right?
He did. He took
he got
Doc
me a
Holliday.
point,
He
yeah.
got 1 point yesterday.
1-2. And Navarro hangs in there. Barrios with 5 strikeouts so far in this game. He's allowed just the 1 hit, the single, to Presley in this inning. And there's a day made with the foul ball. Runner goes, and it's in the dirt. Presley will slide into second base. That'll be a stolen base.
And Presley picked the perfect pitch to run on. With 2 strikes, Barrios has thrown a lot of breaking balls. Therefore, he took off, and it was a breaking ball and made it very difficult for Jason Castro to pick it and get a throw down to second base. I'm kind of surprised Presley hasn't run more in a Tigers uniform. It's not like he hadn't been on base a lot.
That is his 5th steal. He's been caught 5 times. No, it's not. He's been caught none. His 5th steal, but he hasn't been caught. I was looking at Nick's numbers. So maybe you got a point there, Rod. He runs well. In scoring position now. 3-2 on Efren Navarro. Off the plate, and there is ball 4. Navarro gets a walk. Second one in the ball game now for Barrios. Now McCann 1 swing of the bat away from tying it up. Barrios now at 54 pitches, so his pitch count most of the early part of this game in good shape. And he'll start McCann off with a strike.
And pitch usage for Barrios today, you can see he has used that curveball 30% of the time today. And that's exactly what he does on a season average with his breaking ball.
But Rod, I believe for the most part in this particular game today, he's thrown it a lot, and you said you showed me the numbers there, but it's been for a ball. So I feel like right now as hitters, I can eliminate that pitch because he hasn't showed me the ability to throw it over for a strike to get ahead of me. So I can just sit dead red. That would be a fastball, and see if I can do some damage.
I don't think they're picking the breaking ball up, though, see, to be honest with you.
Well, he does have good arm action on all of his pitches. So coming out of his hand, it looks like it's the same. It looks like a fastball, and then it's darting down and away. But at the same time, you know, you start to recognize speeds. You change your sights. You start thinking a little bit more right center. Stay inside the baseball. Those are some of the adjustments that you can make.
Fly ball in the air to left. It is medium depth, and now coming in to make the play, Granite, and there are 2 gone. McCann got underneath that one for the 2nd out. Bring up Machado. So where does Dixon fit in the plans next year? He's shown he can play second, he can play short.
Well, it depends on what happens with the remainder of the roster. Iglesias has 1 more year of arbitration, then he will be a free agent after next season.
Kinsler.
So
Kinsler
he is under
1 more
control. Kinsler is under contract for next year, or they could buy him out. So it just kind of depends on what happens with this current roster and whether they feel Dixon deserves to be an everyday player.
Well, I truly believe he's done an outstanding job coming off the bench. I thought early in the season, Rod Mario, he was overmatched. He was late on fastball. I mean, they were just bullying him with fastballs, and then he was chasing breaking balls down and away. But all of a sudden, I mean, with a lot of hard work, he started to hit with better rhythm, better timing. Started driving the ball to all fields. You know he's got a solid glove at any position that you put him in. So I feel like he's played himself into one of these positions, right?
Line drive on 1 hop, fielded by the shortstop Polanco. They'll go to second for the force. That'll end the inning. Is our score as we go to the top of the 5th inning at the ballpark. Tigers fans, if you can't catch the games on TV, you can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports Detroit and Tigers baseball with you wherever you go. It'll be Joe Mauer to get things started here against Buck Farmer in the 5th inning. It'll be Mauer, Polanco, Rosario against the Tigers righty, and there's a strike called on Joe. Mauer came in batting .340 in this ballpark this year. He has seemingly been rejuvenated this season. Numbers across the board are very good. 0-2 on Mauer.
Buck's starting to slow himself down here, Rod and Mario, to me. Starting to throw some better pitches, some quality strikes inside, and also on the outer half of the plate as well. Staying out of the middle. I think that's important if he's going to stay out there.
Mauer hits this one toward right field, and that's going to get down and go all the way to the warning track. He'll take a wide turn, but hold up. Shot it right by the first baseman, Navarro. How about another fun moment here at home this year? You got to go with Jay up, don't you, against these Minnesota Twins?
Walk-off?
The walk-off.
Did he know it, Ron?
Ooh, he says.
Stand up on him.
Did you?
August 12th, the Tigers trailed 11-6 off Matt Belisle.
Guys, those feel so good when you catch one and you don't feel it off the bat. And call it disrespect if you want, but you're not disrespecting the game. It's just a moment, and you just stand there for a second.
High towering drive to right field. That ball hit well. Presley going back to the track, leaps up against the wall, can't get it. It'll drop in. Mauer goes to third. He will stop there, and that'll be a double for Polanco.
That ball stayed in the air an awfully long time, and we talked about the speed that Presley has, and Presley ran a long way to get to the out-of-town scoreboard, Simo, but it looked like to me that he might have thought that that wall was coming up on him a little quicker than it actually was, and he kind of jumped, and he had a couple more steps to take to get to the wall.
Yeah, that corner though can be tricky. You see that 365 sign? It's a little tricky there, right? Going into that alleyway right there. You're not sure how much room you have, and I think Presley, he peeked a little bit to try to see where he was at. He was just unfortunately not able to make the play.
2 on, nobody out. Here is Eddie Rosario. A couple of walks in the game for Rosario. The Twins now have 7 hits on the board. They lead 3-0. Little chopper to the right side. It's going to go foul.
That ball actually was getting ready to roll back fair.
It looked like
it. And he should have let that ball roll fair.
Yeah, because Mauer was not going to score.
It looked like that ball was going to roll fair, and Rosario was not running down the line. And had it stayed fair, they would have been able to tag him out and get an easy out here. Take a look at it. All of a sudden, it takes a little direction right here. Looks like it's going to go fair right before he picks it up. Rosario wasn't even running. You missed it yesterday, though, Mario. Doc Holliday.
Oh, I saw the replay on that. Ground ball to second, and Machado thought about it. The run will score. He'll get the out at first.
Doc Holliday on a similar type play yesterday with Joe Mauer playing first base. The ball was foul, and Mauer waited until the ball got into fair territory because he felt like Holliday wasn't running down the line, and he thought he was going to be able to tag Doc Holliday, but Doc had something for him. The old okey doke. He ran right behind him. The ball was foul. He let it get fair because he thought he was going to run down the line and tag him, and Doc ran behind him.
Ain't that a beautiful thing?
That's a beautiful thing.
Oh.
Escobar batting with the infield in here. The Tigers down 4-0 now here in the 5th. Escobar has fanned twice in this game.
Well, you really want to stay down here if you're Buck. You really want to try to get it to roll over something and get this ground ball that the Tigers desperately needs to keep this game where it's at.
Up and outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
You think Polanco is coming on contact here, C, or you think he's going to make the ball through the infield?
Well, I feel like he's gonna see it through. I mean, they've got a comfortable lead. Don't you think he probably would just see it through here?
In the air, shallow center field. It's going to be a long run for everybody. Machado getting back there, and he dropped it. And another run will score. Dixon Machado got to the ball, stumbled a bit, couldn't hold on.
Tough play here. It looks like Dixon gets back there, though, for me, Mario, and just not able to catch the baseball. I mean, that's just one of those plays where I'm not sure if he lost it in the sun there, but he just wasn't able to make the play.
See, do you think that's a ball that might have been a little easier for Dixon to catch had he just used one hand and not 2 hands?
I do. I think a lot of times guys make that mistake to where they try to use 2 hands. I feel like I had a better reach, better range when I went with 1 arm, 1 hand, and caught the baseball. But you're taught, Rod, and you know this, you're taught to catch the ball with 2 hands.
In Little League.
In Little League.
What? It's Little League.
I know, it just sounds funny. Yeah, Little League. No, but you bring up a good point, because how many times have we seen a guy drop a ball using one hand, and then you say, well, come on, use two hands, but that's one spot where maybe one hand would have been better served.
I think so too, Mario. Rod dropped a Little League on me, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Buxton pops it up. Let's see if it stays in play. Navarro is up against the tarp. It's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. So what are you taught at this level? Are you taught two hands?
Well, it just depends. I always felt very comfortable, Mario, with one hand, because I always wanted to keep, but I also kept my hand close. I would make sure that I, first of all, got around the baseball to where I was catching it on my throwing side. But I would keep my hand close enough to where my transition from the glove to the hand would be quick, and I could get rid of the baseball in a timely fashion.
You know, I think sometimes where the issue comes in and it doesn't look good is when infielders or outfielders will catch that ball off to their side one-handed.
Now that I don't like.
They gave that a base hit too, didn't they?
They did. Single RBI. That'll be the 8th hit of the game now for the Twins. Buxton rolls it fouled at home plate.
Matter of fact, Mario, talking about the outfield, I was watching Nicholas Castellanos, who's going to make the adjustment to play right field. That's one of the things that I would encourage Nick to do. And I would encourage him to do it on every ball, so that way he gets very comfortable getting his body, getting around the baseball, to where every time he's in his mind, he's thinking somebody's on base. This way you don't have to change anything when there's guys in scoring position, guys second trying to tag up. You've come accustomed to just getting in a good position, catching the baseball on your throwing side and getting rid of it.
Buxton lines one to left. It is hooking foul. 1-2 on Byron Buxton. I was reading something on Buxton the other day. He has become an elite defender, but it wasn't always that way. He had the speed last year, but Byron was saying he was looking at some of the StatCast numbers, and the StatCast numbers indicated last year that he was not getting good jumps. His first step was not all that good, and so he worked on that in the offseason back at his high school in Georgia. And now the numbers indicate that he has taken the next step. He's going to pop this one straight up. Iglesias coming in to make the catch.
Well, Mario, you make an interesting point. I mean, it's a great point, too. And give him a lot of credit for making that adjustment and recognizing that he needed to necessarily make the adjustment so he can make more plays. But the other thing I think that young players, especially young outfielders, can do is, guys, you can read the bat angle. Start anticipating. I actually had a chance to talk with Jim Edmonds, and I think you guys know that he's probably one of the better center fielders to play this game as well. And he's a highlight reel, making those diving plays. But he would get to more balls because of his route running, but also because he was reading balls off the bat, because he wasn't a fast guy. But he said you don't have to be fast to be a good center fielder. You just have to take good routes, and you have to anticipate where the ball's going to be.
Here's Castro now with 2 outs. 2 more runs in for the Twins. Well, when you look at a guy like Buxton, you think he's got all the speed in the world. He doesn't have to have a good first jump, or a good first step, because he can make up for it. But that's not true. You still need the fundamentals, don't you?
Well, it's nice for him, because a lot of times he'll be playing somebody in the left center field gap or the right center field gap, and he has the kind of speed where most center fielders can't get to the other side and make that play. So he can make up for some mistakes that the pitchers make, and that's a beautiful center fielder. When you have a guy in center field and you make a mistake as a pitcher, and a guy can run a ball down for you, you love that guy.
ROMINE gets to the wall to make the catch there. That'll end the inning. 2 more in for the Twins. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire.
Tire pitch by pitch. Jose Barrios has won 12 games this year and has been awfully good against the Tigers so far this afternoon. He pretty much has dominated with that really slow breaking ball, that curve ball that's gone anywhere from 80 to 83 miles an hour. He does have a fastball at 93. See, and we were talking about him at the beginning of the game. He had cat allergies before he came to the ballpark here today. The Tigers, in 9 innings, they had scored 18 runs against Barrios, but apparently he took some good medicine this morning.
Oh, how does he come up with this stuff, Mario?
He must have took an antihistamine today.
A little Flonase before he got to the ballpark.
Oh, he's been awfully good early, guys.
Still time to get him, though. Here is Romine to lead things off. Barrios, 23 years old, out of Bayamon, Puerto Rico, as Romine fouls it back.
He also pitched in the World Baseball Classic this spring, did Barrios.
He'll go back to work, and it's fouled back out of play, 0-2. It'll be Romine Jones Iglesias. Tigers have only 1 hit so far. It was a single by Presley in the 4th. Here's the 0-2.
I know from a stuff standpoint, Barrios might have better stuff than some of the Tigers' young starters, but at age 23, I just love the way that he is filling up that strike zone, and guys like Norris and guys like Boyd and some of the other guys that have the skill set of a guy like Barrios, they could do the exact same thing.
To the shortstop, Polanco, a terrific play, but not in time.
Agree?
I agree. I like where Matthew Boyd's at right now from a mindset standpoint, right? Some of the things that he talks about in his interviews when he's on our show on Tigers Live, he talks about staying on the attack, attacking the strike zone with quality strikes. And I truly believe that's where it starts. You have to trust your stuff. You have to stay on the attack, pitch ahead in the count, and then you're able to expand the strike zone.
This young man has thrown 65 pitches, and he's only missed the strike zone with 20 of those. So he's been on the attack all afternoon long. A lot of first pitch breaking balls.
Jacoby Jones looks at a strike, 0-1.
But right, he's also, guys, he's also putting you away with a real good breaking ball. And I think that's another thing that the Tigers will have to do a little bit better of. When they do get ahead in the count, 0-2, 1-2s, you have to make a quality pitch to provoke that hitter to chase something out of the zone.
That'll get away from Castro, advance the runner. So move Romine to second on a wild pitch. Jacoby struck out in his first at bat. Did he go? Yes, he went around. Now 1-2. We've talked a lot, guys, about the strikeouts of Jones, and he went around on this one clearly. Well, maybe not clearly. That was pretty close.
Yeah, that looked pretty close. Looked like he kept the bat back.
He can't be looking for another breaking ball, or else he won't hit this fastball if he gets it.
And he went around. Strike 3, says Jerry Davis, the home plate umpire. One gone. Now the 1-800 call, same call of the game, and Johnny Kane.
All right, boys, you know this is Fan Appreciation Weekend. I know you know this. Yesterday was the Hawaiian shirt giveaway. Today, it's even better. It's one of the best things we've done out here. We're surrounded by these legion of Daniel Norris minions. All right, the bearded knit caps. And these poor kids, I made them all put the caps on here in 86-degree temperatures. They're sweating it out, but they're loving life. And this is it. How we doing, guys? How we doing? You okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So what do you think, guys?
Get the company credit card out, Johnny, and
What do
buy
you
them
think?
all a nice little beverage or something.
Let's get them, yeah, maybe we get them some ice cream, you know what I mean? But anyway, they never look better. Some of us can't grow beards, as you know.
Johnny, I think you should pull out your credit card and buy them all
No
nice
way,
man. Yeah, the promo stops right there. Well, they're sporting the Daniel Norris cap and beard proudly here. The final home game of the year. Looped in the air to shallow right. Going to drop, base hit. Dozier tried to deke the runner. To third base goes Romine. And Iglesias with a looping single. That'll bring up Ian Kinsler. How long do you think they'll keep those caps on?
I don't know.
It's boiling out there.
It's hot down there.
Until
Brian.
Johnny Kane leaves. When Johnny leaves, they'll pull him off.
Johnny, just release him. Tell him that's okay. Here's Kinsler now. First and third.
First real test of the afternoon for Barrios. Runner on third, less than 2 outs. If you're Ian Kinsler, you got to know you're going to get a breaking ball on the first 2 pitches. He got it.
Popped him up. Middle of the infield. It's going to be Dozier to the grass, and there are 2 gone.
Boy, if you're Ian Kinsler and you went up there looking for a breaking ball, and you got this one right now, man, you're just kind of unbeside yourself at the fact that you popped it straight up. But this is part of the game. Every now and then, guys will throw you a pitch that you normally would just crush, and for whatever reason, you just don't get it the way you should.
Well, I'll tell you the reason, Rod. You try to get big. You try to do too much.
He
with
got
the
big?
pitch. I thought he got big on that swing. Yes. Try to do a little bit too much. Your eyes get big, guys. When that breaking ball hanging up there, your eyes get big, and then all of a sudden the body takes over. You start. You do. At times, you try to do a little bit too much.
Presley pops it foul, back out of play. Last time the Twins swept the 4-game series here at Comerica Park, you've got to go back to 2004. So it's been a long time. They're trying to do that with a victory here today.
Tigers have dropped 6 straight. And the month of September has been, well, brutal.
That'll get away. It'll score a run. And Romine comes in with the first Tigers run of the day.
I don't know if that'll go as a wild pitch or a pass ball, but nonetheless, and Romine was able to get to second on a wild pitch and able to score on a ball that gets past the catcher.
Wild pitch. Five-1 ball game now. And Presley can drive in another with a base hit here. Fouled away.
Hey guys.
Yes, sir.
I know you guys are having a lot of fun there talking about pick the stick.
Right.
As if like I'm non-existent. Okay. But I did pick my guy Romine, and by my count, I do believe he's leading today.
Walk, single, run scored.
That's what I'm talking about.
A lot of baseball
I'm just
left,
chipping
Johnny.
away. I understand that, but I'm just saying I was just trying to trade places with Simo, and I got a good feeling about it.
Yeah, I will agree with you on one thing. We have kind of slighted you today, so we apologize for that.
Thank you.
Little looper, and it's going to drop into left field, a base hit. And Iglesias will come around to score, and Presley with a looping single to make it 5-2.
And Johnny Kane, just like that,
Oh,
you
man.
are now no longer the leader today.
Hey, man, I'm rooting for AP.
Thanks for
I'll allow
playing.
it. I'll allow it.
Should have kept quiet, John.
Yeah, he should have.
Yeah. Look at that beautiful swing there. Stayed inside the baseball, just driving in runs. Take a look at Presley here, guys. He doesn't try to do too much with this breaking ball. Stays inside of it. Hits it off the label a little bit. But they say with 2 strikes, good hitters get jammed, and you get yourself a knock and an RBI.
That'll bring up Castellanos. The Tigers now have 4 hits. That'll dive inside to Nick, 1-0.
And that pitch right there missed on the inside corner to Nicholas, but in his first 2 plate appearances, Berríos threw him exclusively outside. So he really hasn't given Nick a whole lot to hit as of yet. Nick in a really nice fastball friendly count though. It must be tough to pick up, because Nick doesn't take many fastballs.
Well, that, and also, Rod, that I'm seeing a lot of guys get those fastballs from Berríos, and they're fouling them back. They're fouling them off.
Is that because he's throwing so many curveballs, you think?
Well, maybe I think he's put that on their mind. I think they're maybe sitting on that breaking ball or looking for the breaking ball and not expecting him to throw a fastball. But a guy throws this hard, you have to hit off the fastball and adjust to the breaking ball, right?
That's what you would think. I think they might come back with another fastball here. At least on that last pitch, they were going to throw a fastball and not another breaking ball, only because Nicholas took the 1-0 pitch. Castro, the hitter, might be trying to play some mind games with Castellanos.
Now the 1-1, and Nick looks at a ball outside, 2-1. Castellanos, a couple of hits in the series. He has hit safely in 24 of 26. He had that 17-gamer going, which was interrupted a couple of nights ago, the longest hitting streak of his career. Hit a long ball here, and the Tigers down by just 1. Here's the 2-1. Low, 3 balls and 1 strike with Navarro on deck.
He hasn't thrown many changeups today, but that was a changeup that he threw there to Castellanos. It's a nice take by Nicholas, who's done a very nice job of getting himself in what should be a fastball friendly count here, 3-1. At least that's the way you got to be thinking. If he throws you a breaking ball, you just simply take it, or if he hangs it, you bang it.
Line to right field. That ball is going to drop. Base hit. To third goes Presley, and Castellanos with a single the opposite field.
Navarro had himself a night last night, guys. Take a look at these 2 swings. Very short, compact swing, goes big fly to right field. And then later in the game, not 1, but 2. It was opposite field variety. Stayed inside that baseball against the lefty, right? Lefty on lefty. That's a nice piece of hitting there. It was nice to see the young man, who I believe has picked it over at first base, played outstanding, playing for Miguel Cabrera at first base. But yesterday, he put his big boy pants on, baby boy.
Little Oppo Taco.
Oh, little Oppo Taco. It was loud too, Mario. Did you hear the sound off the bat?
Pow.
That's loud.
Made a different sound, to be sure.
Yes, sir.
Buznitz, the right-hander, warming up. So Berríos now is running into some trouble here in the 5th. He's allowed 2 runs. He's thrown a wild pitch, and the count is up to 82 now for Berríos. A 21-pitch 5th inning. Now you bring the tying run to the plate.
Mario, this your guy, right?
This is him right here, Simo. I'm envisioning right now. Please don't bother me. I'm
Did you
envisioning
notice,
a 3-run.
did you notice how quiet he got?
Yes, I did.
Come on, Efren. Ball 1. Visualizing it. Visualizing the ball going over the right field wall right now. First multi-homer game of his career in the ball game last night. The 1-0. 2-0 now on Navarro.
Efren had gone 3 years between home runs. His first career home run came against the former Tiger, Justin Verlander, back in 2013 or 2014 at Angel Stadium out in LA. JV ain't giving up many homers now.
Fouled away, 2-1.
Here's that home run that Navarro hit. Flashback, 2014. Pretty swing.
Yeah. That's that sound again. When you get it, it makes a different sound off that bat. I'd like to see that swing right now. Tie this ball game up.
Ooh, strike called on Navarro. A little bit up and outside, but he got the benefit of the call. 2-2.
Looks like he got the corner, guys.
Now Barrios ready with the 2-2. Navarro skies one in the air to left field. That ball hit well. Granite going back to the warning track to make the catch. That'll end the inning. The Tigers get 2 runs back. Simo, good to see you, man.
Oh, no.
See you post game.
Always a pleasure.
Good
guys.
year.
Enjoy
Thanks for joining us all year.
I've enjoyed it.
Detroit is brought to you by the Sam Bernstein Law Firm, official legal services sponsor of Fox Sports Detroit. Bell Tire for tires and auto service. Everybody needs a Bell Tire guy. And by Chevy, the only brand to earn J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs 2 years in a row. Hey, how about that? Our good buddy down there who wears the Tiger suit, Rod.
Yeah. He taking care of us, showing us some love today.
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
How hot do you think he is in that suit today?
A little warm. That's okay. He enjoys himself. It is a warm one, a toasty one here at the ballpark. And anyway, you can keep that sun off you.
How about that one?
Tigers have scratched a couple of runs across now. We've got a wall-side windows pitching change. Chad Bell will come in.
And Bell has probably pitched better out of the bullpen since he's been up here. He's been in 24 games, 4 of those are starts, the remainder of those out of the bullpen. 55 strikeouts for Chad, 29 base on balls.
And the first one delivered by Bell is going to result in an out. Little bouncer there by Vargas, and one away. Machado making the play. First time they've gotten Vargas in this game.
Yeah, Vargas has had a nice day.
Here's Granite, the number 9 hitter, who had a sac fly, more of a line drive in his last at bat to drive in a run. These Twins doing what they do. They have 5 runs on 8 hits. They spread around their scoring against the starter today, Buck Farmer. Granite in the ball game last night became the first Twin ever to pinch run in an inning and then homer later in the same inning. It had never been done before.
Home run was a 3-run shot, too. Capped off that 8-run inning yesterday. Tigers went into the 8th inning leading 3-2. And after 45 minutes, when they got back to the dugout, they were trailing by 7.
It's just been the way things have been going for the Tigers this year. Obviously in September with all the changes, I think everybody expected it might be a difficult month.
I didn't expect it to be this difficult of a month.
I would agree.
They've only won 4 games.
4 games.
4 games this month.
So there's work to do in the offseason, and Al Avila and his staff, obviously the first order of business, finding a new manager. That's fouled away. It was announced a couple of days ago that Brad Ausmus will not return as the Tigers skipper next year. And I think Brad also, when he met with the media the other day, said, you know, the feeling was kind of mutual. He probably wasn't going to accept a contract to come back next year if that was the course anyway, because he felt there probably was a different voice needed here.
I believe Brad when he says that, but there aren't many big league managers that would turn down a big league job. I mean, not if it's your goal and your aspirations to be a big league manager.
It would be tough to do that, no question.
I mean, I don't know of many guys that have the job and then are offered an extension, and then they tell the general manager, you know what, I don't think I want to come back. I think you need a new voice. But I believe Brad, when he says that, it's probably been pretty stressful for him the last couple of years.
Tigers made the postseason in Brad's first year. That was 2014.
Can you think of a manager since you've been in the game that has been in a situation like that and may have turned it down?
No, I could probably think long and hard and still not come up with anybody. I just off the top of my head, no. That has popped up again. We'll see if McCann can get there, and he got there, but he couldn't hold on.
And be careful. That's where Jamer hurt himself yesterday. Right off the tip of the glove. Game of inches.
Two and two on ZACK Granite.
John Paul Morosi was on the pregame show today, and of course he had a lot of different names that he was throwing around about potential candidates for the next Tigers manager.
Ball high, 3-2. I think both you and I agree that the next manager will have to have a little bit of patience.
For sure. And his coaching staff.
3-2.
This coaching staff right here is a good coaching staff, but you don't know what's going to happen with the new manager coming in.
1 out single by Granite.
Here are some of the guys that and JP Morosi were talking about today, the outside candidates. I mean, you got Mike Redmond, who is now the bench coach in Colorado, and Avila knows him very well. He was with the Marlins for a number of years. Mickey Callaway is interesting. Not many pitching coaches are major league managers, but that's a good name.
You know, I had not really thought of his name, but he's done such good work. You know, Bud Black comes to mind as a former pitching coach / pitcher in the big leagues that is managing now.
Alex Cora also on that list. He's the bench coach in Houston for A.J. Hinch. So he's also been given some consideration.
1-1, Brian Dozier. 5-2. Twins have the lead here in the 6th. Fouled away. How about some of the internal candidates within the organization? Of course, Lloyd has managed in the major leagues with Seattle and Pittsburgh. Dave Clark, I think, is a real interesting name on that list.
Yes, indeed.
Omar Vizquel, currently on the Tigers coaching staff. These are some of the names that John Paul Morosi brought up on our Tigers Live pregame today. In the air to center and hit pretty good. Jacoby Jones going back, still going back. He reaches, and Jacoby unable to get that ball. It's going to bounce up, and it's going to be a double. Boy, once Jones gets on a dead sprint, you think he's going to get there.
The ball that is hit directly over the center fielder's head is probably the most difficult ball to judge, and whether you need to come in or go back. He ran back on this ball, and he must have been playing shallow because this ball hit nearly off the warning track before bouncing over the 420 sign. Jones ran a long way to get there, just not able to make the play.
Second hit of the game for Dozier. Tigers again will be pulling the infield in here, down by 3.
Remember that situation where I said Mauer might just swing at the first pitch of an at-bat today?
This could be it.
This could be it.
Actually, in at the corners, they're still back at second and a couple of steps at short, and there's ball 1. That was not close enough for Mauer to pull the trigger. The Twins now have an even 10 hits.
It's really fascinating to me, as well as the Twins have hit the ball lately. I mean, it's a pretty good offensive team. Not a lot of boppers, but they put the ball in play.
They'll put it in play again. Slice to left field. That'll score 2 more runs. Mauer goes the other way with a 2-run single. His second hit today. Now 7-2 Minnesota. And 11 hits now for the Twins. That's going to give Mauer an even 70 RBIs for the year.
When it's all said and done, and Joe Mauer is going to have a wonderful career. MVP and Silver Slugger awards and batting titles. He's done a lot.
Well, he is now 16 hits shy of 2,000. 0-1 on Polanco.
Probably going to end up with about 2,500, maybe somewhere in that range.
And as you mentioned, the Gold Gloves and MVPs.
Probably 400 doubles, maybe more.
Polanco's had a big day, double and a homer. And 2 runs scored for the Twins. One and 2. Again, today the Tigers get a start that does not last more than 5 innings. Buck Farmer went 5 before Bell comes in here in the 6th. Drilled to left field. That ball is hit well to the track, to the wall, and a leaping play by Romine. A little bit of a mini leap out there. 2 gone. Oh, here comes Eddie Rosario. Alcantara warming up for the Tigers. Rosario, a couple of walks. He has an RBI and a ground out. Ball 1. Twins trying to win their 4th consecutive game. They've got a stranglehold right now in the 2nd wild card as time is dwindling. Tigers, of course, will close out the season in Minneapolis next weekend. Buznitz is still warming. To center field, shallow. Jones on the run, still coming. Machado sprawling out there, can't make the play. All the way to third goes Mauer, and the Twins get another base hit.
For the entire series, Every time Minnesota puts the ball in play, man, they're just finding a lot of grass, a lot of holes.
Here is Escobar, and here is Brad Ausmus, who immediately makes the call to the bullpen. So Bell comes in and unable to get through the sixth. We'll be back. Wall side windows change. A flashback to get our most dependable player. That would be Mr. Tiger, Al Kaline, on this date in 1974. His 3,000th major league hit.
It's a lot of hits.
And of course it came in his hometown in Baltimore, Maryland. What a career. Well, could play some right field, couldn't he?
He was a great player. He's in the Hall of Fame.
There are some numbers on Mr. Kaline.
Al was on the pregame show today with Mickey York, and he was talking about the fact that when he signed with the Tigers, he could have signed with a lot of other teams, but the Tigers at the time were in last place. And he said that was his best opportunity to play as a rookie, was to go to a last place club, and he was right. He started as a rookie.
Interesting.
Wasn't he 19 years old?
He was. Very young. And he's got a statue now out in right field.
Not many guys come to the big leagues at the tender age of 19 and stay. Ken Griffey Jr. is one guy. Felix Hernandez was 19 when he made his debut against the Tigers, I believe, right here at this ballpark back in 2006. And I believe Justin Upton was 19 when he made his major league debut too.
You are correct on J-Up.
Very seldom do guys make their debut at 19, and they don't have to go back to the bushes at all.
Was Trout 19 or was he older?
Trout might have been 19.
Yeah, I think he was 19 as well. That I would have to double check. 0-2 on Escobar. Slapped out of play. Alcantara is the new Tigers pitcher taking over for Chad Bell. Farmer went 5, then Bell here in the 6th, and now Alcantara. That's in the air to right center field and hit deep. And that ball is going to go off the top of the wall into the seats for a 3-run homer.
Man, these Minnesota Twins have been wearing out Tigers pitching in the 4 games they've been here, man. Oh my goodness.
20th of the year for Escobar, and the Twins have busted it open. It's 10-2.
They've scored 39 runs in the 4-game series. They've averaged 10 runs a game in the 4-run series. That's a changeup, and it went a long way off the bat of Escobar. That was right down in his nitro zone.
A 4 RBI day for Eduardo Escobar. We talked about how nicely he has done for them, filling in for Sano, playing third base, and maybe more importantly, filling in offensively for him.
Rough inning for Bell. Most of those runs were his.
All but one. So he'll get charged with 4 of the 5. Buxton trying to join the party is 0 for 3. Ground ball to third, behind the bag Nick. And Buxton is out, and that'll end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th at Comerica.
Park, and how about this? The Jimenez family traveled 4 days and 3 nights to come here to Comerica Park, and you say why? That's because they went to the same high school as James McCann, who is stepping to the plate here. How about it? 4 days and 3 nights they made the way here. Dos Pueblos High School out in Goleta, California. And here's Bernie. Grandma Bernie got the Tigers t-shirt held up there. They're looking good. Looking good up here. So we're out here in section 144. We've got work to do. Hopefully James McCann can spark a little rally here to get us going, guys.
All right, Johnny, thank you. And it'll be James McCann to get things going here in the 6th inning. It's a long way to travel.
That is a long way to travel.
Alan Buznitz in a wall sign windows pitching change.
And we saw Buznitz in last night's contest, now pitching in his 26th game this year, and he's pitched well. 1.55 ERA. The whip is under 1. He's punched out 20 and he's walked 8. He's got a fastball, Mario, that gets up to 96, 97 miles an hour, and when not throwing that fastball, it's a curveball. So pretty much just a 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball, curveball.
So Buznitz will go to work facing McCann, then Machado and Romine. It is now 10-2. The Twins scored 5 in the 6th inning to break it open.
First fastball probably going to be about 95 miles an hour.
There it was. Fly out for McCann, both to left field. Swing and a miss, 1-1. The opponent has scored 10 runs 5 times on this homestand.
In 11 games?
Correct.
Wow. That's a lot of runs, man. It's a lot of standing around if you're defense.
Yeah. 1-2 on McCann.
It's a lot of at-bats. Losing in the contest, trying to come back in the game.
Buznitz out of Covington, Georgia, went to Kennesaw State University in Georgia. His first go-round in the big leagues. Ball high, and the count evens now 2-2. Since August 10th, Buznitz has allowed just 1 earned run in 18 1/3 innings. That's an ERA of under 0.5, 0.49 ERA in that stretch. Pulled to third base, foul.
You know, we were talking about the 5 games where the Tigers gave up at least 10 runs in a game. In the 11 of the homestand, they also had a couple of games against Oakland where Oakland scored 8 one day and then 9 one day. So just giving up a lot of runs on the homestand.
Yeah, and it's been a definite theme as Brad has had to maneuver through his bullpen. Ten runs on 13 hits in this game for Minnesota. The 2-2 is fouled back.
Good swing by McCann at that 95-mile-per-hour fastball. Buznitz have thrown him quite a few of them.
Popped up. First base side, Vargas straddling the line in foul ground, and 1 gone. Hey, see the Tigers take on the Mariners in Seattle. Detroit Tigers vacation packages include luxury accommodations, tickets to 4 games at Safeco Field, exclusive brunch with Tigers personnel, and more. For more information, go to tigers.com/vacations as you look ahead to next season. You can also go down to the Pike Market. I know Rod loves to go down there and toss that fish down there at Pike Market. Or maybe not. 0-1 the count on Machado. Strikeout, ground out for Machado. Here's a ball line to left field. That's going to get down. Extra base is going to the wall. Dixon on his way to second. He will stop with a double. And now Romine will step in.
It's a nice job here by Dixon. He knew he was going to get a fastball from Buznitz. He also knew it was going to be at 95 because he had just watched all the fastballs that he had thrown at James McCann, and he timed that one perfectly. Nice at bat by Dixon.
RBI chance now for Romine. Walk, single, run scored for Andrew, and he'll take strike 1 right at the knees. One ball, 1 strike. Machado has just given the Tigers their 6th hit of this ball game here today. 2-1. Tigers have an off day tomorrow. Then it's on to KC. They will start their final trip of the year. 3 in KC and then 3 in Minnesota. The 2-1. Outside, 3-1.
Yeah, Kansas City, along with the Los Angeles Angels, 4.5 games in back of the Minnesota Twins for that second wild card. You've got to commend their general manager, though, Mario, Dayton Moore. I mean, here's a guy that had 5 free agents, and he did not trade any of them at the trade deadline, knowing if they did not get to the postseason, the next couple of years for them are going to be tough because they can't sign all those free agents. They don't have the resources for that.
Well, they gave the old college try. They picked up a couple of pieces to strengthen their team. It'll pop up left side of the infield, and it's going to be Escobar. 2 gone. But you're right. I mean, now I think he's going to take a little bit of heat because hindsight is always 20/20.
Right.
And people are saying, well, now what?
Yeah, I mean, they've got Hosmer, their first baseman. They've got Escobar, their shortstop, Moustakas, Kane, and Vargas. They have 5 free agents.
Now, Jacoby Jones with 2 outs.
But I believe he made the right decision at the trade deadline. I mean, they were right there in the thick of things. It would have been tough to dismantle the club. I mean, what do you tell your fan base if you do something like that?
I would agree, and I think it's always a very difficult call when you're in that spot. But the bottom line is, what is your mission here in the big leagues? Your mission is to get to the postseason and win a world championship.
Right.
I mean, I know you've got to have one eye on the future, and that's always important. But when you're close and you have a chance, you don't know how many chances you ever get.
And I think what made this easier decision for Dayton Moore to hold on to his free agents to try to win another championship is the fact they won a World Series just a couple of years ago.
And really largely the same core still there now. Obviously not as good a pitching as they've had in the past in terms of both the rotation and the bullpen. But the Twins have been the surprise of the American League. They look like they are on their way to that second wild card. Got him, strike 3. Jones caught looking to end the inning. No runs, a double and 1 left. To the 7th we go. You look at some of the top happenings here at Comerica this year. I think, Rod, the near no-hitter by Matthew Boyd has to be near the top.
And Boyd was sensational that afternoon against the White Sox. He pitched aggressively inside. He had backdoor breaking ball. He had a wonderful changeup. And Doc Holliday, Brian Holliday, led him beautifully in that afternoon. He only shook Brian Holliday off 1 time that day.
Tim Anderson broke it up with a 2-out double in the 9th. It looked like a no-hitter for the left-hander Boyd.
It was a 2-0 changeup that apparently Anderson had an idea he was going to get. He knew he was not going to get a fastball from Boyd with 2 outs in the 9th inning and a guy throwing a no-hitter.
Jason Castro will lead things off. It'll be Castro and then Vargas and Granite. 10-2, the Twins going for the sweep. They lead by 8 here in the 7th. Alcantara throws a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alcantara came on in the 6th, gave up the home run to Escobar. Castro single walk, 2 runs scored today for the Twins. Shot to the second baseman, diving, sprawling play. Machado throws him out.
That's big league right there. That is highway robbery. Dixon Machado is a shortstop by trade, but he looked like a natural second baseman on this one step and a dive. That ball headed in the center field. He cuts it off, gets up to his feet, and makes an accurate throw to get Castro at first. That's a big league play.
Here is Kenny Vargas. Single double ground out for Vargas. Ball 1. Infield with a slight pull to the right side against Vargas. Yanked foul, 1 ball and 1 strike. Farmer started the game, then Bell in the 6th, Alcantara in the 6th. One and 2.
Nice little two-seam fastball right there. Some tailing action at 92.
Checked and foul right back at the screen. 13 hits in this game for Minnesota. They got more action in their bullpen. Ryan Presley, the veteran right-hander, tuning up. They got 5 innings out of Barrios today. Swing and a miss. Vargas out of there. 2 gone. Well, Detroit Tigers season ticket holders, renew your season tickets now through October 6th to be eligible for our 30 prizes in 30 days raffle and a chance to win a once-in-a-lifetime fan experience. Go to tigers.com/seasons to renew. 2 up, 2 down. Here is Granite. Zach Granite, sac fly, single run scored. One ball and 1 strike. Alcantara is the pitcher the Tigers got in return for Cameron Maybin from the Angels. That signaled the start of what we thought, Rod, was going to be a busy offseason last year. Cameron Maybin was the first piece to fall, and then you thought, well, Tigers are going to be trading away a lot of guys, but it never really materialized.
No, the market didn't create itself for guys like J.D. Martinez, who we heard rumors of that he would possibly go in the offseason. We also heard Verlander's name. We heard Miggy's name. Of course, Verlander and J.D. would go, but they wouldn't go until this year, not last offseason.
Little chopper left side of the infield. It's going to be Nick to cut it off. Quick throw is in time for the out.
Look out, Nicholas. I see you.
It'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Alcantara. Coming up, the McLaren Health Plan 7th inning stretch. Fox Sports Detroit is brought to you by Comerica Bank, a part of Detroit and the community since 1849. Your Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDetroit.com. See why Chevy drives to Motor City. And by Wallside Windows, we can do that. We are the factory. Another Sunday Kids Day here at the ballpark, and a great day for baseball to wind up the home schedule. Here's our showstopper, and there's a guy out there in Miami who just keeps hitting homers.
His bat speed is so sick, man. Just about every time he makes contact, it leaves his bat at about 115 miles an hour. It's ridiculous, man, to have that kind of bat speed.
Stanton just keeps hitting the home runs. Here's some news and notes from around the major leagues. Chris Davis now the second player in A's history with back-to-back seasons of 40 or more homers. Jimmy Fox.
How about Abreu?
Third player in Major League history, 25 homers, 100 RBIs in each of his first 4 career seasons. There's the other 2 guys you were talking about, but DiMaggio and Pujols.
Yeah, how about that? Jimmy Fox, DiMaggio, and Pujols show up on the graphic today.
Pretty impressive for both of those guys, Davis and Abreu. Got a Wallside Windows pitching change now. Here's Ryan Presley.
And Presley pitching in his 54th game this year. He has 7 holds. The ERA approaching 5. 1.34 whip for Presley.
It'll be Iglesias to get it started, then Kinsler and Presley. For Jose today, a single, a strikeout, and a run scored. Tigers down 10-2.
You know, we were speaking of the Marlins, and of course Derek Jeter, now one of the owners of the Marlins, Mario, and he's done a little house cleaning already. I've heard that they let Andre Dawson go, they let Tony Perez go, they let Mr. Marlin go, and Jeff Conine and Trader Jack McKeon all will be looking for jobs next year.
House cleaning is one way to put it, and I think Derek has taken some heat for that as well. Iglesias waits on a 1-0 pitch. That ball drilled to left field. Granite going back to the track right in front of the wall. 1 away. There have been some balls hit the left field today that just
died.
For whatever reason, died.
Yeah, and balls that in the previous games of the series have carried out of here, but for whatever reason on a very warm day where you would think the ball would be traveling, it hasn't.
Now Ian Kinsler. A couple of pop-ups and a strikeout for Ian. First pitch swinging, pops it up. First base side, it's going to be Dozier and Vargas. Vargas. 2 gone. Now Presley against Presley.
Paul Molitor is getting ready for the postseason. He is managing this game like he's getting ready for that 1-game playoff against the New York Yankees next week.
It is a 10-2 ball game, right?
It is.
Okay, just checking. It's going to be it for Presley. It's going to be a pitching change for the Twins. We'll be back. Here in the 7th inning, and folks, join us again tomorrow night from Little Caesars Arena for Red Wings hockey. Red Wings Live begins at 7 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. That's Penguins and Red Wings from the new Little Caesars Arena tomorrow night at 7 right here on Fox Sports Detroit. And by all accounts, what a place. That's about the best way you can put it. Spectacular new arena here in the Motor City.
Yeah, they dusted it off last night. I heard that the people that went to the hockey game thoroughly enjoyed themselves.
Taylor Rogers coming on here in the 7th.
And 66 games now that Rogers has been in. Probably that situational lefty out of the bullpen for Minnesota. He's got a pretty good ERA, 3.19.
Strike one on Alex Presley. Single RBI for Presley in the 5th. He has 2 hits and a stolen base here today. 0-2.
Paul Molitor has a right-hander that is heating up in his bullpen as we speak. And if Presley gets on, he wouldn't make another pitching change, would he?
He just might. Well, they brought this guy in here to take on the lefty. A little chopper we're not going to find out. And it's going to be a 1-2-3 inning. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. The top of the 8th, 10-2 is our score in Comerica Park. Here is the Comerica Bank game summary. And, well, these numbers, I guess, say it all in this series for the Twins.
Well, from an offensive standpoint, they've really showed out. Not a whole lot with the home run ball, but lots of hits, tons of runs, multi-run innings, and 21 of 43 with runners in scoring position. Man, that's almost 500.
It is, to be exact, 488.
Really?
488 wrist.
How do you do that?
Not in an entire series. It's kind of hard to believe. Paul Molitor's team trying to win their 4th straight. In the meantime, back to the bullpen go the Tigers. It'll be Zach Reininger taking over.
I like Reininger's arm. And from an arm strength standpoint, he hit 95, 96. Getting a taste of big league life after pitching at all 3 levels in the minor leagues this season.
He will go up against the top of the Minnesota lineup. It'll be Dozier, Mauer, and Polanco. So Alcantara ends up going 1 in 130, surrender the 3-run homer to Escobar, but charged with only 1 of the 3 runs on that homer. Dozier shoots the first one to third. It's going to eat up Castellanos and go into left field. Leadoff man on. Fans, MLB.com at Pat is your #1 mobile app for live Tigers baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Tigers home screen icons, app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, broadcasts, and more. MLB.com at Bat. Got loaded today. They ruled that an error.
They sure have.
Leadoff man on. Well, Skull did pretty good, wasn't it? Here's Mauer.
Well, judging by some of the other hits that have been given out in this series, you would have thought that would have been a hit too. Let's put it that way.
1 ball and no strikes on Joe. That'll be the first error for either side in this game. Mauer looks at a strike 1-1.
Every time Mauer steps in that batter's box, if you're Jones and Romine, you've got a pretty good shot at making a play. He's coming in your direction.
Mauer went in that direction in his last at bat, a 2-run single to left center, and there's a strike 1-2.
Good fastball at 94 by Reiniger.
So Mauer now needs 16 hits to get to 2,000 in his career.
And the way he's been swinging the bat, he might get that next week before the season's over. 2 a day.
A .308 career hitter. Now the 1-2. Bouncing ball to first base, gloved by Navarro. They'll go to second one, and the relay double play. Reiniger covers first base, 2 gone.
It's a nice job here by Navarro. He grabs the ball, he takes his time, he gives Iglesias a nice feed. Iglesias stands behind the bag and throws flat-footed as Dozier doesn't even attempt to take him out. He just peels off the play.
Here's Polanco now with 2 outs. Ball 1. Farmers started, then Bell, then Alcantara, and now Zach Reiniger. One and 2 on Polanco. He got the scoring started way back in the first on a solo homer with 2 outs, then doubled and scored in the 5th. 2 home runs today for the Twins. The other belongs to Escobar. The 1-2. It'll bounce in. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Jorge Polanco. Three and 2. He lost in ball 4. It'll be a 2-out walk for Polanco. That'll keep the inning going now for Eddie Rosario. Reiniger at all 3 stops this year in the minor leagues. Lakeland, AA Erie, and AAA Toledo. And now you count the big leagues here with a stop in Detroit. Looks like Adrianza is going to pinch hit. So Rosario done for the day. Ray Adrianza Flat foul, 0-1.
Another switch hitter on their roster. They've got quite a few. It's a nice luxury to have if you can find a really good switch hitter. Guys have advantages batting against the right-handers if you are swinging left-handed, or right-handed against a left-handed pitcher. That one went over in the radio booth. It almost got Jim Price.
Apparently he was ducking out of the way.
He did duck out of the way, picked it up after it stopped rolling. Threw a seed down there too.
He did. Usually you put a little loft under those so nobody gets hurt.
Threw a rocket down there.
Ah, the art of pitching. 0-2. Foul back. Here's old JP. You know, he played for the '68 Tigers team. You know that?
Oh, I do know that. I do know that. That's the best team Tigers ever had.
Yeah, Jim will tell you that.
He laughing about that foul ball now, but it came up there to eat.
The 0-2. Little chopper to the right side. It'll be Machado. And that'll end the inning. So nothing doing here in the 8th as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning.
Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, and it is brought to you by Miller Lite. How about a tip of the cap to the great Tiger fans today? Final homestand, final day of the regular season here at home, and a pretty nice crowd.
Yeah, I'm up for that. Nice tip of the cap. 23,882 in the final home game of the year here in 2017. And boy, they had a lot of nice weather and warm weather here today. In fact, on this whole homestand.
Right.
Here is Nicholas Castellanos to get it rolling out for the Tigers in the 8th. Castellanos, Navarro, and McCann. First one inside to Nick. 10 runs, 13 hits, Minnesota. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Tigers. Changes now. Mitch Garver has come on to catch for the Twins. Here's the 1-0. 2 balls and no strikes. Adrianza stays in the game, and he will play left, and that'll move Granite from left to right. Rosario out of the game. Ground ball, base hit, left field, right through the left side. In fact, they were pulled that way. Leadoff single. They'll bring up Navarro. Oh for 2 for Navarro. He does have a walk today.
Yeah, big day for Efren last night. 2 homers in that contest. Didn't start in the game, but homered against their starter, Irvin Santana. Then he homered again later in the game.
Ball 1.
His first 2 homers of the season in a Tiger uniform.
Navarro was rewarded after a solid year at AAA. Of course, the Tigers brought him up. It's a little bit of insurance from Miguel Cabrera, whose ailing back has been bothering him. There's a ball outside, 2-0 on Navarro. Efren 10 homers, 61 RBIs, 23 doubles down at Toledo. Here's the 2-0. 3-0. Warwick Soppold in the Tigers bullpen. It's going to be a 4-pitch walk, second walk of the game for Navarro. And we bring in Johnny Kane.
All right, boys. You remember how the season started on opening day? It consisted of lodging Coney Island deep dish pizza from Little Caesars into the tank, and we're coming back. We're finishing the same way we started, and I brought a piece here to the set with the guys, and Mickey York looked me straight in the face and said, I ain't doing it. I'm not doing it. I know Simo will do it. Won't you see?
Yes, sir.
Get in here.
You know that. You know that.
Come on, York, let's go.
What Mick doesn't eat, bring it up here, Johnny.
Clearly,
Bring it up to you. Everybody asks,
keep
is
that
it
off
really
my
that
computer and my scripts, would you? Look,
Come on, Mick. Why you
clearly there's not much that I won't eat.
All
I love pizza. I love Coney's.
Let's give it-
I just can't do the pizza and the Coney
Hey, don't knock
together.
it till you try it. I do want to give a little love. We know Simo's obviously working hard. You can start eating. Mick's always working hard.
You know I don't eat before a show.
No, he doesn't.
No, so I'm not going to eat.
Well, I am.
Hey, while you're
Good.
eating,
Enjoy.
let's give a quick shout out here to
Smells-
we got
it
Scott
smells
running
good.
the camera over here. There's Mule. How we doing, Rhodes? All right. Raffinate Pittman right here
yeah.
with the flat bill. Everybody's working hard over here.
Here, Raph, get some Coney pizza.
All right, we'll
There you go.
have to pick this up on the other side of
will
the
get
break.
some of that.
We got a little pitching break. Raph, get in there. We'll check back in later.
Nice.
Michael Tonkin taking over out of the bullpen now for the Twins. The Tigers have 2 on here with nobody out, down 10-2. We're in the 8th.
And Tonkin has a fastball that average velocity about 93. He'll get up to about 95. He also throws a lot of sliders and lots of cutters. No curveball, no changeup for Tonkin. two-seam fastball right there with some running action on it on the hands of McCann.
Tonkin replaces Rogers. Their starter Barrios went 5 innings in this one, stands to be the winner.
And Kenny Vargas, the only member of the Minnesota infield playing his regular position. Everybody else on the left side of the infield, including their second baseman.
This might be a double play. The relay is in time. It'll go 5-4-3, even though a slight bobble by Escobar.
Yeah, I thought maybe the bobble would cost him, but it didn't.
2 gone now. Fans, the Red Cross depends on financial donations to provide disaster relief immediately. Help people affected by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma by going to redcross.org or texting the word Red Cross to 90999 to make a $10 donation.
James McCann stayed out at first base a long time. I guess Brad was holding up play momentarily to see whether McCann was safe or not.
2 gone now. Here's Machado. It was a close play. And that bobble by Escobar made it close. Machado a double. In 3 at-bats, he looks at a strike. One ball, 1 strike on Dixon. To right field, slicing. Granite is on the run, still going. Nice running play to end the inning. No runs, a single, a walk, and 1 left.
With you here at Comerica Park for the 1-800-CALL-SAM update. Simo, the Twins have scored 10 or more runs in 3 of the 4 games in this series. Impressed?
I have been impressed with the Twins, Mick, in this series. They've hit good pitches, and they've also capitalized off mistakes, and they continue to just score runs.
All right, coming up after the game, the Tigers will say a farewell to their fans within a very special way. We'll show that to you immediately following the final out on a post-game edition of Tigers Live. In the meantime, guys, we got to let Simo get back to that Coney pizza that he's
it's already.
It hits the spot, doesn't it?
He gone. It's already gone, guys.
It stays
muffled.
there.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's just.
All right.
I just got to make sure that
should give you the energy to help power through the post-game edition of Tigers.
Oh, I'm ready to power through. You know that. Team player, guy. How about you, though? How about you? You let us go alone?
That's strong discipline on my part.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Let me know when you guys are done.
All right, we're done now.
Oh, I guess we're done. I don't know. I thought you guys went home.
Johnny Kane came out. He's like, listen, who's with me? Who's with me? Of course, I had to be with him. I couldn't let him go alone, Mick.
That was kind of like Mario in Seattle, though, when everybody was eating whatever they was serving in
bugs,
Seattle,
Rob.
and then Mario wouldn't eat them.
Dude, those are grasshoppers.
You were the only one that wouldn't eat everybody.
Well,
Everybody ate 'em.
tell me you would have eaten.
Oh,
one
I'd
of
have been
those.
all in on the grasshoppers, man. You know me. I'm adventurous like that.
Liar, liar, your pants are currently on fire.
Give me some frog, some alligator. I eat it all.
You would not. 0-2 on Escobar, and he takes outside.
Gibby was trying to get you to eat it, and you hadn't.
Dude, he put one on my computer and said, eat this. And it was sitting there staring at me with its eyes, but it was dead.
And you wouldn't eat it.
Little antennae were not even flickering. Up and in, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
And Gibby was chewing it like it was pretty good.
Yeah,
though.
it was like bubblegum.
Yeah, he was. Who else was who else was out there? Who was the host? Whoever was
that
the host
Trev?
ate it.
Trev did, yeah.
Trevor dug in too.
Yeah. I was the only one. And I'm thankful for that. Warwick Soppold, the new pitcher here in the 9th. There's a swing and a foul tip into the glove. 1 gone. Tigers again deep into the bullpen. Bell, Alcantara, Reininger, Soppold.
Yeah, Brad has had to dip into that bullpen quite a bit in the month of September. Tigers relievers have logged a lot of innings.
$13 hits for Minnesota, but Buxton is hitless. A couple of strikeouts pop up and a ground out. Now to get back in the seats, and the count on Byron now is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ball high. Mitch Garver waiting on deck. Here's the 2-2. Castellanos giving it a look but out of play. Back amongst them. Swing and a miss, and Buxton is now 0 for 5 today. Couple of punch outs for Soppold.
That's a rough day. 0 for 5.
Two up, 2 down, and that'll bring up Garver. His first at bat after replacing the catcher. Castro in there, a strike call.
Good fastball there by Soppold at 93 miles an hour, 4-seam variety. Fans still hanging in there.
They are, man, through the heat.
It's been a hot one.
The 0-1. Right to the first baseman, Navarro. It's going to be a 1-2-3 inning for Soppold, and we will head to the bottom of the 9th. Ninth, it is 10-2 in favor of the Twins. Here's the upcoming matchups presented by Wallside Windows. Instead, we'll just show you who the Tigers will be throwing. The Royals undecided in the 3-game series, and for the Tigers, it'll be Sanchez, Zim, and Norris. That series starting up on Tuesday. It'll be Romine, Jones, and Iglesias here in the 9th inning. Tigers down 10-2. The final home game of 2017. With that, Rod, comes some heartfelt thanks to our crew here, our entire crew all season long. Some of the hardest working people we have ever been around.
Absolutely.
They certainly make our telecasts possible on a nightly basis, whether it's the crew in the truck or the camera folks here at the ballpark.
And they somehow make us look and sound good on occasion, which is nearly impossible.
Well, not nearly impossible. It can be tough sometimes. There's a strike called on Romine. 1-1. No, we really mean it, boys.
Especially today, though. Day like today, man. The cameraman.
Yeah, we've got a great crew here that will certainly do their best, and they've always been that way throughout the daily grind as we go through. The 1-1 pitch is lifted in the air toward left field, slicing foul ground out of the reach of Escobar. Romine has had a decent day. Single walk. He has scored a run. Tonkin came on in the 8th inning, got a double play ball. And Romine drives that one foul out of play. Tigers will take the off day tomorrow, their final off day of the year, to travel to Kansas City. Still not too late to get a foul ball here.
Twins also have a day off tomorrow as they travel to Cleveland to play the Cleveland Indians. They got a series that starts on Tuesday.
Well, their magic number to clinch the wild card's got to be getting close.
Oh, no doubt. What, 4.5? Maybe about 3, 4 games. That combination of losses by Kansas City. LA wins by Minnesota.
Two and two. And another souvenir.
It's turned into a pretty good at-bat for Andrew Romine.
Seven pitch at bat right now for Romy. Slice to the shortstop and caught on a mini leap there by Polanco. One gone. We'll bring up Jacoby Jones. Jones has fanned 3 times. And Jacoby looks at a strike, 0-1. Swing and a miss, and the count 0-2 now on Jones.
If you're Jacoby in this situation, you don't want to strike out for that 4th time of the afternoon. You got to spread out. You got to choke up. You got to do whatever you can do to try to put the ball in play. It's almost like playing pepper.
1-2. Iglesias waiting on deck. Here's the 1-2. Little chopper foul, third base side.
And a pretty good pitch to hit there by Jacoby. It was a breaking ball thrown by Tonkin, but Simo was pointing out a couple of days ago that Jacoby, that front shoulder at times flies off prematurely, which means the bat head does not stay in the strike zone for the length of time you need it to stay in there to keep that ball fair.
Got him. Strike 3 called, and Jones will strike out for the 4th time this afternoon.
Jacoby has taken a lot of fastballs today for strikes. And it's back to what we said earlier today when you and I and Simo were having a conversation. He just looks like to me he's just thinking too much in the batter's box. Way too much.
Well, the Tigers now down to their final out here in the 9th. It'll be Iglesias to step in, and he looks at strike 1. Twins are 1 out away from winning their 4th straight. Tigers 1 out away from their 7th consecutive loss. Slice to right field, and Granite will not get there. It's going to go to the wall, extra bases. And Iglesias will pull in with a 2-out double. It'll be a 2-hit game today for Iggy. He'll give Kinsler another shot. Ian today has popped up 3 times and is fanned. He's 0 for 4. That was the 8th hit of the day for the Tigers, 13 for Minnesota. Their big run, or their big inning, was a 5-run 6th inning, which broke it open. At that time, a 5-2 game. Then the 5 spot made it 10-2. One and one. Driven deep to left field, down the line, and that is going to go. It's a 2-run shot for Ian Kinsler. His 22nd of the year. Tigers fans, something to cheer about here in the bottom of the 9th.
Much better swing put on the baseball here by Ian Kinsler, who had popped up 3 times but goes down to get 95, tailing inside on him, and he clears those hips out of the way. And for the 2nd time this year in 22 times, it's not a solo home run for Ian Kinsler.
Here's Presley. Ball 1. He'll make it a 10-4 ball game.
I called that homer, by the way.
Did you really?
I did. I just didn't want to say it out loud.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to get your attention. I was doing this. It's going out of here.
Now, what made you feel he was going to homer?
Because Mickey York's got him.
That's popped up.
I'm being honest.
It should end the ball game, or will it? Oh, look out. It's caught by Carver to end the game. There's your final score, 10-4. And now we send you to the Coliseum Studios, Mickey York with Tigers Live postgame.
Hi, Mario. Thank you very much. Coming up on Tigers Live, Tigers get tattooed by the Twins again. We'll look back at all the damage they did in this series. Alex Presley, one of the bright spots. His numbers versus the Central Division will amaze you. And Mauer continues to mash. How the Twins veteran is pacing his team to the playoffs. And Brett Ausmus bids farewell to Comerica next on Tigers Live.